Welcome back, everyone, to 4K Kings. I am Russ.
I am Matt.
And it's been a short hiatus for the both of us, but we're back. And this week we'll be covering Army of Darkness, The Lost Boys, Poltergeist, The Godfather, Steelbooks, a Halloween box set, Videodrome, Child's Play, Heat. It's like every film that ever existed got a release on our mini vacation, Matt.
And more. And we're back. Welcome back, Russ.
Welcome back to your own home, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you. As you mentioned, we've been gone for quite so long, and we are so glad to be back with, I don't know, like 5,000 titles to cover.
It's a lot of movies.
So been a lot of movies. There's a lot of physical media channels out there, and we appreciate you coming and visiting with us and returning and waiting as long as you did to see our lovely faces one more time. Mm-hmm. If you are new, welcome. I am Matt, and this is Russ. We're your 4K Kings, and we're covering mainly physical media news as well as movie news in general, and I don't know, anything else that we really enjoy, really love.
And we need your subscription to survive.
Yes, we do. Thank you for helping us live. If you like what you see here, please throw us a comment. Consider subscribing, maybe, if you'd like. If you're watching this, check us out on Spotify. We have our full conversation up there right now. And then if you are listening to this on Spotify, come on over and check out this YouTube page that we got.
It's pretty good.
It's good. I like it. Last week we were on break. We missed a ton, as we mentioned. Right before we left, however, we did a drive unboxing. If you haven't checked that out, please check out that video. And we threw a contest out there to everyone to help us get to our next milestone, which is 2,000 subscribers. Mm-hmm. And if you can help us get there by spreading the word, or for any of you that are out there that have yet to click that button, please consider doing that. We're going to give away an extra copy of the Drive 4K from Second Sight.
That's impressive. Word on the street also is that this is the greatest unboxing ever. There are no other unboxing videos that compare to the level of skill and technical ingenuity you have.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah, let's wake up. I gotta wake up.
Wake up, Russ. Wake up, Russ. Yeah, I heard the exact same thing. Not only was it the best release of the year so far, but it was the best unboxing of the year so far, and it's got one of the best contests of the year so far. So we're only about 600 away.
I was shocked when Ryan Gosling showed up at your doorstep to tell you that personally. Yep. I feel like the people who watch this channel should know what goes on behind the scenes.
He asked us not to kind of, show up the video that we took of him and all the selfies that we took. He said, just here as a fan. But
that man needs to eat his cereal.
He sure does. But if you leave us a comment on that video, we will take a look at that once we get to that 2,000 and pick our funniest, our best, our favorite, whatever you might want to call it, and throw that copy your way.
Personally, I'm looking for the comment that makes me cry.
There have been a few. This week, we have got a lot of Blu news to cover, like Army of Darkness in 4K, The Lost Boys in 4K, Poltergeist in 4K, The Godfather. There's been a Halloween box set announced, Night of the Living Dead, Lost Highway, Videodrome, and so much more. We're also going to be discussing new releases, Child's Play, Heat, and and your Indiana Jones The Last Crusade.
Crystal Skull is coming out as well, I believe. I want to say in September.
Somewhere, yes, we'll be taking a deep dive into that, I'm sure.
I will quit this pod if we cover the Crystal Skull release. I quit.
We're also going to give our recommendations of the week and talk briefly about our Criterion sale haul, which, Russ, I know we put up a little video not that long ago just being excited about the Criterion sale. We went through our recommendations and things that we personally were going to get. And we also followed up with just saying that, when we actually go to pick up these titles, we were hoping to do a video of this, run through the store. We were actually really excited to do that. But turns out the two Barnes & Nobles in this area have not only decreased their Criterion section by at least half, it now lives behind the counter. So I don't know, maybe, where you guys live, there might be a different Barnes & Noble that kind of has like a section for you to browse, but you actually had to request, which ones you wanted, and someone would go and get them for you.
In all fairness to Barnes & Noble, though, they had to make more room for all the Kino titles that have been stolen from Criterion.
That is true.
So, the Criterions are behind the register, but
Yeah.
the whole store is basically Kino now.
At this point. And the second place I called, they actually said that they only really order their Criterion titles around the time of the sale, and they only buy the ones that they feel are the most popular. So it's not like they have some big selection. They're just trying to make sales.
Who decides that?
Sure, but
who decides that? Like the general manager at Barnes & Noble? What are they just going to order? The Breakfast Club?
Their top selling ones? Yeah, probably. Shit like that. Yeah, exactly. So it was a bit of a bummer.
We might as well just call this the Amazon sale now.
I mean, that's how I ended up
because they price match. They drop all the prices in July to match Barnes & Noble. And if Barnes & Noble can't be bothered to participate, we can't either.
No, so I did Amazon, and so I got significantly less titles than I probably would have had I been in store, because I thought that would have been pretty cool. But I know.
What did you get?
I got Raging Bull, I got Thief, I got the Umbrellas of Cherbourg, I got Something Wild.
Cherbourg. Let's call it the Umbrellas of Sherbert from now on.
Yeah, I got Crash as well, which I haven't watched yet.
For those listening or watching, we are not referring to the Paul Haggis abortion. We are speaking on the David Cronenberg automobile fetish film.
Correct. That's the one that I picked up, but I haven't got a chance to watch that yet. But I've seen a few of these as well. I also pre-ordered Exotica, which I'm excited for it to come in September. What about you, Russ? What did you pick up?
So after the doomed failure of our Barnes & Noble venture, I resorted to Amazon. The list I made, see, I like the excitement of going into that store and picking it up. So I was disappointed. I ended up just ordering Raging Bull on 4K. I figured everything else I can still wait on. I waited for the sale. I can wait some more. But Raging Bull just came out, and it's Raging Bull, for God's sake. I need to own that on 4K. Funnier even is that I ordered it. Once I realized it was a bust, I ordered it from Amazon, and I'm expecting 2 days. Amazon Prime shipping. I got a notification saying that I won't receive my Raging Bull 4K until August 28th. Okay. So Barnes & Noble really did win in the long run.
They did.
But
Raging Bull.
What are you going to do? That's it. Yeah, because and honestly, it's these kind of practices that it really
ruins the fun.
It uninspires you. It turns you off to participate.
I was ready to have fun.
Like, I don't give a damn about Barnes & Noble outside of this sale. I could care less about them.
They lost me as a customer.
Who reads? I don't even know how to read, Matt.
They lost me as a customer. But anyway,
and I wasn't.
I was only going there twice a year, and they've lost that twice a year. I'm sorry.
But I hope they can recover from that loss. Our business. But it is dumb, because if you think about it, they did. They lost about close to $400, I'd say, worth of business just from, hey, let's not put this out on the shelves. You're a brick and mortar store. It's like you have to do that to compete with Amazon.
100%.
It's like you're just throwing in the towel, and Criterion. You're right. I feel bad for Criterion. First Kino, now Barnes & Noble.
When's it going to end?
It never will.
Anyway, let's get into some Blu News. Russ, there's just so much to cover. I feel like I don't know how we're going to get it all in.
I've already started ranting.
I know. Your rants are I'm tired of them already.
Me too. I got to live in my head, man.
People are the Kino. I'm going to the Kino sale. Barnes and Noble. What's he saying? They do. When's their Kino sale coming up? So let's just jump right in, because there's just so much to cover, and we gotta get to it. The first thing is an update to something that we covered a little while ago when it was just a rumor, and that's the Poltergeist 4K, their 40th anniversary edition. So now it's dated, and it's got all the details that you would ever want to know. And it's out September 20th. And unfortunately, as you could have expected, the 40th anniversary isn't really receiving any real care or love. It's not being celebrated in any real meaningful way. But it is just getting a 4K restoration, so maybe it's going to be a really good upgrade. It's going to have the HDR. It's going to have a DTS HD master audio track. No Atmos here, just that DTS HD, which is fine. And the features include a previous making of documentary that only appeared on Laserdisc.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is. And then a previously released documentary on real-life ghosts. Lame. That was actually on the 25th anniversary digibook, which is the one that I have. The literal only feature is about real-life ghost hunting.
That's the same edition I have as well.
Yeah, lame.
But let's keep it real. I know we're going to save our thoughts for the release date, but let's keep it real. Speaking about bonus features on this release, what are you expecting from Poltergeist? Carrie Ann's not going to come back to contribute. Toby Hooper's passed away. There's always been the debate of whether or not he really directed it or did Spielberg do it.
People should come on and speculate that.
Joe Beth
they
Williams.
Should walk on his grave.
Joe Beth Williams had to hang out with actual skeletons on this set. Like, who's going to come back and reminisce about all the death and crazy shit that went on to the production of this movie?
I don't know. I need something good, something new. There is a making of documentary that was on the Laserdisc.
And I bet you it's I bet you it's a fluff piece.
It's a fluff 5-minute fluff piece.
I bet you that real life ghost documentary is more thought provoking.
Well, honestly, the real tragedy is how these are being released. Because I'm not gonna lie, like
Sorry, Heather O'Rourke.
Yeah,
the real tragedy here is
I'm sorry.
This Blu-ray, this cover art is
I know, it's
drab.
It is. It's a bit drab. So here's the regular edition.
What the fuck is that?
And I mean, I know likeness rights are hard to get, but they managed to snag Craig T. Nelson's ass.
Wait, what? Likeness of what? This doesn't even look like the house.
No, his body. They can't always get likeness rights of people. They were able to get his ass.
Dude, slow down, Matt. I'll get to Craig T. Nelson's ass. This doesn't even look like the house. What are these lanterns? What am I looking at? If you just showed me that photo without the title on it, I wouldn't guess Poltergeist in a million years.
No. Not at all.
Not even the stupid remake that no one bothered to watch.
No, definitely not. I don't know what this is. It's just, yeah.
That's gross.
It's dumb.
That's contender for worst of the year.
Maybe worst of the year. There's going to be one
maybe
other
worst
one that
of
we're
all
gonna look
time.
At. Yeah, there's some other bad ones coming up for some things we're going to talk about later. But yeah, it is.
Honestly,
it's a contender.
Craig T. Nelson's ass may be the most like faithful thing on it. It doesn't even look like his hair or anything.
No.
Who is
those
this
jeans
guy?
are looking good? But
who is this guy?
The Steelbook counterpart, which is this one where you Best Buy and Zavvi and so forth, is this just illustration of Joe Beth Williams climbing out of the pool, which, I mean, you got the tree here. Again, if you just saw this image, you would know this is an iconic scene, but it's kind of I don't know that it's the right scene for cover art. I mean, I think they're just throwing whatever is out there that no one's done yet.
Honestly, if they would have took an actual shot from that scene of her in the pool with it and just kind of like spliced it up a bit, that would have looked cool.
Real skeletons.
This looks too artsy or something.
Yeah, it
looks like it should be like The Shining or I don't know what. Yeah.
But then Zavvi comes along, not to be outdone, and they're the ones that are going to put out the Ultimate Collector's Edition. And the only marks I'll give Zavvi
What's that going to
here,
have Heather O'Rourke's death certificate on the cover?
Included inside in an envelope.
This pod's going to go dark.
This, at least, they're giving you the original box art with the pool scene steel on the inside. And I feel like that's the only saving grace here. I mean, they give you all the normal stuff. You get the photos, you get the posters, a booklet, and all that stuff. And I'm sure it's nice. And it roughly ends up being $50 before shipping. I feel like this is the only passable option if you're judging this based on art alone.
Oh, yeah. Wait, go back to the Steelbook. Did the Steelbook have the original font of Poltergeist?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it has that font on there. But I don't know. It's a shame that the regular editions have shitty art. It sucks that if you really want something that looks like it should, you have to pay $50-something. I don't know. But, and also the 40th anniversary, give me something different. I guess that Laserdisc feature is what we're going to have to deal with. Maybe the restoration will be good. I mean, who knows? Maybe the restoration will be good.
Everything you've heard about the behind the scenes of this movie, I mean, what are they going to come back and just trash it and trash the experience?
It'd be cool just to see. I don't know what they could do. It'd just be cool if they did anything.
And I mean, a child passed. That's got to be a hard thing for, I'm sure, anyone involved in this movie. Like,
I want to know
to celebrate it, knowing that the main character was
Are
a tragedy.
you picking one of these up?
I'm gonna piss off everyone. I would pick up Poltergeist 3 in 4K if it had a cool box like that.
So you're not going to pick up any of these?
No, I have the Scream Factory special editions, and Poltergeist 1 and 2 were never in like my top favorite. I was never enamored with them the same way other people are. I respect them. I dig them. I like them enough to own them. I don't like them enough to pay $52 to.
Craig T. Nelson's ass wouldn't persuade you to get the regular
Craig
edition?
T. Nelson's ass can persuade me to do anything, man.
Well, let's switch gears over to the Lost Boys, because this is yet another disaster, I feel like.
Shirtless saxophones, man's ass will make me do anything as well.
So this is out September 20th, same day as the Poltergeist, and it's arriving, again, new 4K restoration of the film, HDR, DTS, HD Master Track. It's all the same stuff. It's all Warner Brothers, all the same stuff. No new features included. It's basically comes with everything that has already come before it, which is pretty much to be expected. But once again, it's just this artwork. It's like, first, here's the regular edition, where you lose the iconic title card and the title treatment, and again, it's blue. It's some blue thing where the posters, everything I've ever seen for this movie is just a red and black.
Even the movie itself
is red and black.
Feels red and black. Like the whole climax at the end of the film in that living room, it might as well have been in hell.
Yes.
Like what lighting was in that living room to begin with. But yeah, dude, there was nothing blue in that movie whatsoever. This looks like fucking Twilight.
It does. And I think someone made a comment that I liked where it said the font looks like it's made out of Legos. And it just kind of, it does, it just looks dumb. I don't know. This is really dumb. So then you've got the Steelbook that they're putting out, which is of Michael's face, again, blue. Like you said, it's Twilight-esque, and the bridge scenes in his glasses. It's at least you have the title card back, but
this one looks more like Near Dark.
Maybe Near Dark. I mean, between that and this one, so far, I feel like this is the better one.
And that's not saying much.
It's not. So then you go over to Zavi, who once again has got the Ultimate Collector's Edition,
is
and
it the
they're giving you
artwork?
It is not. It's some other terrible artwork. I think this one looks even dumber. I mean, it looks like a comic book illustration or something. That's what they're kind of going with.
Anime Lost Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. If the original title card was there, maybe I would consider this Abomination drawing. But because that's on there, it really just spoils it for me, I think. I don't know. It comes with all the usual stuff: illustrated graphic novel, or a 32-page book, and 8 character cards, 2-sided poster, an original, and this other one that's got like Japanese writing on it, I think that is. I don't know. I mean, it's a nice package. If the box was different, if the art was different, I'd be more into it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, dude. I'm not picking this up at all based on that artwork.
And I'm actually curious, too, how the different companies collude on the who's getting what art, and I want the original. No, I'm going to do a whole new thing.
With this one, it seems like which companies were fighting not to get this art.
What was the race to the bottom?
I'll take the blue one with the glasses. Shit, they all suck.
It was a race to the bottom.
And what's silly about this to me, too, is I feel like they're going for like some Stranger Things retro 80s vibe, but it's like, you don't have to do that. This movie literally came out in the fucking 80s.
Yes.
Like, just let it be what it is. The nostalgia and it's all there already. You don't have to alter it.
You don't, but they did. So I don't know which of either the Poltergeist or that one I might pick up. I'm not even sure at this point, but I really just disappointed in general with how all that art turned out. We're big into art here. We talk about it nearly every time. I think most people out there are. They want something that looks good on their
If you're
damn
paying
shelf.
$52,
Give me a break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that was in a bargain bin and it was like $10 and I'm like, cool, I'll get the Lost Boys in 4K, but the art sucks. That's a no-brainer. Pick it up.
Yep.
$52. Nah,
No,
you better sell me.
Let's talk about Scream Factory.
Love them.
Let's talk about their just insane amount of news that they've put out in the last week or two since we've been gone. First things first, out October 4th, which was previously September 27th. It got pushed back by a week. On 4K Ultra HD from Scream Factory is Army of Darkness 4K, the Collector's Edition. This one was rumored back in 2020 to have a 2021 release, and now it's finally coming in 2022. So for all of you, I guess you included Russ, that got the Groovy Collection, now you've got your counterparts here.
Don't insult me.
The companion piece has now arrived for it. No extras revealed whatsoever, but it was a collector's edition before, so there could be, all that's probably returning. Yeah. They've been known to kind of just bring the old stuff back. Their listing this is a 4-disc, so there's 4 different runtimes listed. So the way that it kind of shakes out, I think, is theatrical, directors,
alternate ending.
There's like an international one and a television cut, which is sort
the
of.
The international one has the one where he like falls asleep or something.
He wakes up and it's like apocalyptic or something at the
yeah.
end. Yeah, that might be the director's cut. I'm not sure, but some people were asking in the comments, which one's the 4K? Are they all 4K? You know, what are we getting? And they confirmed that only the theatrical is getting a 4K. The rest will be on Blu. And some people are upset by that because I think some people actually like the director's cut more and wanted that maybe in 4K. I'm not sure.
There's a Steelbook coming out as well.
There is. So yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of options.
I pre-ordered the Steelbook.
Did you? I was gonna. Yeah.
The only reason I did, and I wasn't like jazzed about that artwork as well, but it wasn't terrible. I have Evil Dead 1 and 2 in a nice Steelbook set, and I was like, well, I got to get Army of Darkness on the Steel. I got to complete it that way.
Yeah. So they've got a ton of options. So you have the regular edition that also comes with an exclusive poster of the original artwork. Then you've got this Steelbook, which I honestly think looks really cool.
Well, this is the one I pre-ordered.
Yeah, I think this one looks really cool. And this one comes with a poster that's like it's 28.5 by 16.5, which so it's like a horizontal, and it's basically this art just extended. Like there's just more to this picture.
Well, that's clearly the same artist who worked on like the Friday the 13th set. It looks very similar.
No, it looks really cool. I think the whole thing is like really well.
Yeah, the Friday the 13th set looked awesome too.
Yeah.
Like whoever this artist is, I like their.
Yeah, it's looking.
I
good.
like their alternative artwork.
Yeah. The next option is you can get the original artwork with a set of pins. It's going to cost you about $60 more for those pins. And then the other option is you can get the Steelbook with the pins, and you can see here what the poster looks like. See how it's an extended sort of picture here. Got like the portal, some other things going on. It's pretty awesome. Next up, and this, by the way, is $99.99, so $3 more than the regular edition. So this is the Steelbook version.
Those are some expensive pins.
Now you can get both of the movies and the pins and both posters for $125.99. And these pins are limited to 1,000, by the way. I think I'm going to go regular edition, no pins. I hope it comes in one of those hard slip cases. I think that would be awesome. You know, like Halloween came in.
Oh, you're going to get the one that isn't the Steelbook.
Not the Steelbook, I don't think.
Because sometimes the Steelbooks, and actually my Evil Dead ones, they have a slip too.
Did it really?
Like those clear slips. I love when Steelbooks come with that. Like my Total Recall one is like that as well.
Yeah.
If they send me that, if that Army of Darkness has a clear slip with it, that'll be great. And it'll look nice next to my Evil Deads that I already own.
Well, I wonder, it would be, they haven't said the features. I just wonder.
It'll come with a slip.
Yeah, I can't wait to see if it's one of those hard ones, though. And I know, Bruce
I don't know, because
Campbell,
remember Elvira's Haunted Hills came with that really hard slip, but that's not 4K. And then there was a 4K release I picked up. I don't know
how it works.
That didn't come with a slip.
I wish there was like something that you could tell that that's what it was, but.
Or I'm sorry, it came with a slip, but it didn't come with like that hard. I wonder if that was just for Elvira.
I don't know. No, well, Halloween came like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Halloween came like that. Unknown features this time. Bruce Campbell's alive and well, so he could be out there maybe doing something on here. Who knows? But will this be the last time we buy Army of Darkness, Russ? I guess that's the real question here.
I know. We're making fun of the price about the pins, and I've easily spent like $500 on the Evil Dead series in my life, just in different VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, now 4K configurations.
What about the remake Evil Dead in 4K that's coming in a collector's edition from
Scream
Factory?
That this is getting released because this wasn't released prior from Scream Factory. This wasn't on Blu from them.
Now it's coming out September 27th. No extras either. It is a collector's edition. The original release had like 5 featurettes on it and a commentary. Same deal. You get a poster.
Oh, so they confirmed there's no extras? Like no
they haven't confirmed the
carryover?
extras yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying like the original one, that's all it really had. So maybe this being a collector's edition, you'll get at least the same or maybe some different. I don't
Honestly,
know.
This is a release you might, because I mean, Raimi was involved. The dude who made it, Jane Levy, they clearly had a good relationship because they worked again on Don't Breathe. You can. There's definitely potential here for new updated features.
Well, I wonder what, if ever, the chances would be of this getting a box set with this one and the show and the Groovy Collection and Army of Darkness. What day do you think we will ever see in our lifetime that
It'll
happens?
happen. But they're already making more.
That's true. And the other thing is,
Isn't there like Evil Dead in a high rise or something is being made right now?
Probably. The studio, these studios would go bankrupt if they stopped getting our Evil Dead dollars. Also, it's like a guaranteed, like cash cow every 2 years. You know, like get those coffers filled. Roll out another Evil Dead set,
and it is
sons of bitches.
And at this point, I know. And at this point, it's like it's like a theme of life right now. It's like, at what age do I give up rebuying Evil Dead, and then I will officially become a man?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a man child until then.
I don't know. Well, I don't know if you remember this, Russ, but we're big fans of busts, and that bust edition that came out in Germany was awesome because that bust.
That's the remake, though. Right?
That is the remake. That's what
the
this
reboot.
Yeah, that's
you
this.
Call it.
Yeah, that's the same thing from this. This is the German version of this one, but it came with this sick bust.
I'll tell you what, if they did that bust for the original movie with the that actress and all, and it looked good, I would have bought that.
Love the bust. Love that bust. I would love to pick that up just for the bust alone. Anyway, moving on. The Fog is another one that's coming out in another collector's edition. It is coming out September 13th from Scream Factory, another John Carpenter release for them. It's a 2-disc collector's edition. Previously put out by Studio Canal in 4K, just like we've covered 100 times before. Like all the John Carpenter movies have been put out by Studio Canal in 4K, and those
white
little
cases.
those white little sets. So all of these Scream Factory ones have basically just been those transfers. So you kind of could have already had that transfer if you wanted it. Now you're just kind of getting it in the Scream Factory stylings, which is kind of nice. I like this original art.
Those are international.
They are. The Studio Canal ones.
This is like the North American debut.
Yeah, the North American ones are coming. Yeah, so you are getting a new Atmos soundtrack with this one, which is pretty cool, and a new restored original mono track, which I'm seeing people lose their goddamn minds over. So there's that. This, again, Scream Factory's put this out before. There's no features announced for this, but obviously it's probably going to be at least the collector's edition stuff from the last time. And for this one, every literal option known to man is available. There are 9 versions of this that you could possibly get. Not 9 different features or whatever, but 9 different configurations between steelbooks and pins and posters and vinyls. They are really going nuts for this release. So let's just run through it. Here's The Fog original edition. Okay.
I mean, The Fog's a great film. I'm just surprised for The Fog.
So, yep. So this poster is also sold out, by the way. So this one for this original art.
I love that original art.
Me
I was
too.
just looking at it. I was like, damn, I might pick that up. It's sold out.
Yeah, the poster is, not the release. So then you've got the Fog Steelbook they're putting out. Also a poster, kind of in the same vein as the Army of Darkness one. It's like a wide, long ways one.
And it works for Army of Darkness and Friday 13th. I don't like that artwork for The Fog.
I got to come back to this guy with the sword, but that's for in a second. The next is each one of these versions, the original art or the Steelbook art, you can get with a vinyl as well. So if you get it with the original art, it's $60.99. If you get it with the Steelbook art, it's $63.99.
I will say, research this vinyl, or maybe we should, because when they announced this for Escape from New York, they made it look like that soundtrack was like the original 1981 sound. It was not. It was new recordings with John Carpenter and his son doing Escape from New York stuff. So I hope this is the original, and maybe if you want Carpenter and his son doing that, just keep in mind what you're buying, because I noticed that in the fine print of that Escape from New York set that looked identical to this.
Well, it says on here that the vinyl is limited. It contains the score. It doesn't say that extra detail, but it does say it also contains new music from Carpenter, which they list 2 separate songs that he is putting on there, one from 2019 and one from some other time.
And that bugs me. So, like, to me, that's just something completely new. That's not the original soundtrack to this film, which, I mean, come on. If we all grew up on John Carpenter scores, we want that original soundtrack. I don't want updated re-recordings or modern takes on. And if you do, great. Hey, pick this up. But I think to me, it's a little disingenuous because when you see this presented to you in this way on their website, I would immediately assume that's the original soundtrack. Well, like I did with Escape from New York. And I'm glad I didn't pick that up because of it.
Well, here we have this, and you can get it with the regular edition or the Steelbook edition if you want some new music stylings by John Carpenter.
I'm just saying buyer beware on that.
Buyer beware.
If you, like, for real, because that would make me angry if I wanted the original soundtrack, and that's really what they're pushing it as, and it's not.
It contains the score.
Yeah, it's not. This is like, thank you. Yeah, come on. Like, it's not.
It contains the score, Russ.
Contains the score.
They're
And
putting
3
out-
pins.
They're putting out a figure for this. They have not revealed the art, but each version, the steel or the regular, can come with the figure. It's $76.97 for the regular and $79.97 for the steel, and the figure is of Adrienne Barbeau as Stevie Wayne, shipping separately.
It's just her sitting at the radio station.
Her figure has not been revealed at this time.
They're trying to figure out how it'll work.
They still haven't put. It's like, yeah,
Look, I love the fog. I have it tattooed on my arm. I get it's John Carpenter and it's a great film, but like action figures and stuff, the fog isn't that kind of movie to me.
This is a figure, not an action figure. This is a statue.
I won't insult the doll, but I mean, it's just
it's
like,
Adrienne Barbeau.
The fog is just not that title. I get people wanting an action figure. I'm sorry, what are they called?
Yeah, they're called just figures. They're just called figures.
I get Ash. I get Snake Plissken. I get Michael Myers. The Fog is a traditional ghost story that is low key, and it's almost like they're selling it as if it's.
Oh, they're selling it. They're selling it, Russ, because you can also get both of these editions with the figure and the vinyl if you want. You can get that combination. Now it's $100.98 for the regular and $103.98 for the steel. And if you weren't sold yet and you want the whole Fog kit and caboodle, you can get both movies, vinyls, figures, both posters, and a set of pins for $200.96.
Incomplete. It doesn't have the Fog remake.
It should have the Fog remake for $200.96.
And it's.
Can you believe this edition of the Fog that Scream Factory is offering?
I cannot. Scream Factory,
It's a lot.
You are off your rocker.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Get it together over
It's a
there.
lot.
No, honestly, I guess it's badass. If you are super affluent and you can afford this, knock yourself out. But
yeah, I don't know.
It's weird to me. I could see this treatment like we've seen in the past, like with Child's Play or something that has more of a more pop culture cachet, like Chucky and Michael Myers and even Snake Plissken. Honestly, most people, when I talk to them about the Fog, they don't know what I'm talking about. They've never seen it.
Why does the monster have a sword in his hand?
There is no. It's not. It's they're pirates. They're ghosts. They show up at the end of the movie.
But they have swords. Okay, I wasn't sure. They look like monsters and everything I see. I've never seen
They're
this
in the movie for like 2 seconds.
I mean, the way this illustration, don't you think it kind of looks like, like this is like a monster? I don't know.
It's terrible.
That's what I mean. Every illustration I've seen,
and that's what I kind of said. And I just complimented. It's clearly the same artist. Like I said, I like his style for things that have a zanier feel, which the Fog is just traditional horror ghost story lore. It doesn't like if They Live had that artwork, hell yeah, that works perfectly. But the Fog, I don't know, that's weird. Doesn't fit tonally for me.
Well, the Scream train just keeps on running, Russ, because now
You are king of the segue.
The Return of the Living Dead. We got to keep on time here, Russ. We got a lot to cover.
Great film.
Collector's edition with exclusive poster is Return of the Living Dead, October 18th.
And I will be buying this. I wasn't aware of this before getting together today with you. I missed this announcement. Great film.
You can also get it with pins.
And we'll not be doing that.
And it looks like maybe it's got a slipcase on it. I can't tell. In this version of the site, it's showing just the regular box. But then when you look over here, this has the slip box. So interesting.
And that's what Shout's doing with their 4K releases. All their slips are doing the original artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like that they're using original artwork. I forgot to mention that. I like that it's good on them. No details. It has been put out before in a collector's edition, so same deal, probably same features, maybe just a picture upgrade.
And expect the future release of Part 2, not Part 3, because Scream Factory released a special edition of Return of the Living Dead 2. But they don't own the rights to 3. That is what company put out 3? The same company that put out Waxwork and Wishmaster.
Like Vestron
and Chud.
Video
is it
somebody?
Vestron? I think it's Vestron. Yeah, Vestron did Return of the Living Dead 3.
Well,
solid series for the most part. 2's weak, but 3 is surprisingly good, and 1 is a classic.
Well, there you have it. $94.99 for the pins. $60 more for pins.
That's too expensive for classic.
Yeah. But in probably some of the most shocking news of the week, Scream Factory's putting out more Halloween 4Ks. as I'm sure most people probably assumed was going to happen at some point. I think we might have even have said that at some point as well. But October 4th, 4K Ultra HD from Scream is the Halloween 1995 to 2002 collection, which I think when I first heard that title, not knowing too much about Halloween at all, I was like, man, 7 years. There might be a lot of movies in there. And then it was like, oh, no, there's only 3. And I had no idea, which ones these were.
Wait. The box set is only these 3?
Yes. It's only these 3. You're getting...
I thought the box set was 78 to 2002.
No.
That actually made sense to me because I was like, well, that's a set with everything up until Rob Zombie's remake.
Just until...
Who's going to buy a set of these 3?
So it's 3 films, The Curse, H2O, and Resurrection. And I know that I railed on the art the last time we did this. The same guy's back, and I think good because at least it all matches. But some of these, like this one where he's, I don't know, summoning the leaves behind him. I mean, some of these are a little, again, kind of wonky. But I don't know the breakdown. Maybe you can help me. This is a 3-movie set, but it's 8 discs. I'm assuming maybe you've got, is it a 4K, Blu-ray? 4K Blu-ray, maybe a 2-disc set for one of them plus a 4K, and the other ones just have 2. I'm not sure.
Probably.
So this box set arrives with a horrendous outer box. I feel like this outer box is just dumb.
Who cares? Don't buy. Even if it had good artwork, don't buy this.
It's dumb. Yeah, of course. And I think that's...
No, dude, I can't... I know you're saying you're not as well-versed in the Halloween universe or its fandom. These are like the 3 least popular ones. Resurrection gets shitted on nonstop. Like, who's buying this? Even H2O, which is a decent movie, isn't very well liked fan-wise.
Yeah, well, it turns out that Shout, I guess when they announced this, they said that they were not allowed to release these separately due to rights. So they had to put them in a box set. Otherwise, they didn't say this part, but otherwise maybe they would have released all of these at the same time, which to me makes sense because what's happening here is you have 3 individual slipcases shoved inside this stupid outer box. So literally they produced this thing and just stuck the 3 movies in that they probably already had in the can or were ready to use or were going to use. It's just this is their way of getting these out that they probably would release anyway. But like you said, this smells like bait or something. It's like a year from now, all of them are then going to come in a set because wouldn't that constitute the same clause? Like these aren't being released separately if I stick it in a box set with everything.
Of course. And that's what kind of upsets me because obviously what they're going to do now is next year we're going to get Rob Zombies in this treatment. And then you're going to get a box set of all of them together, just like the one that already exists on Blu-ray. But my thing is, when I first saw that box set and you pulled it up, I thought, damn, all the movies up to 2002, that's actually kind of cool because I'm not a big fan of Rob Zombie's entries, and they are remakes. So essentially, it all started over with Rob Zombies. This would be the initial run. That's a cool idea for a box set. But who wants a box set of literally part 6, 7, and 8?
Yeah, that's it.
Is it? Yeah, 6, 7, and 8.
Yep.
Would you do that for any series at all? Are you going to buy a box set of Force Awakens?
I mean, if you're a gambling person and you want all of these in the series and you want them all to have the same art and all the same slipcases, somebody would probably buy this, throw this trash this outer box, and just stick this on their shelf, and all, whatever it is, 8 will look nice together. But then maybe the box set comes out and fucks you later. But is the box set just all of these shoved in? Is there more content? It's like, who knows how they're just going to repackage this and not make it worthwhile. It's just if you didn't get it yet.
Yeah.
Like that's what a lot of this shit comes down to. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to be picking these up. Maybe some people will. It sounds like you definitely won't be. I feel like to date, still Final Fantasy, Friday the 13th. To this date, why do I keep saying that? To this date, the Friday the 13th box set, I feel like is still the best in terms of packaging, in terms of what they were capable of doing. I feel like at this point,
dude, when that Halloween set came out, though, it was pretty cool.
That too. Well, that too. But now when they're repackaging things in 4K, there's still no Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel like that still holds the title. It's still such an amazing set that I feel like this isn't really living up to.
I'm so nervous, though. In a way, I'm almost happy that there is no Nightmare on Elm Street set like this because I'm such a fanboy of that series. It's like, God, I don't want them to get that wrong. You know what I mean? I'm almost happy it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, Just also real quick, Shout Select kind of named a few interesting titles. Platoon 4K is coming out from them September 13th in a collector's edition. No details again, but it is a collector's edition.
I love that they used the poster for Full Metal Jacket on the cover.
I know that is an interesting cover. I wanted Willem Dafoe, but so Shout actually put this out before in a Steelbook, but it was like a 4K remastered Steel.
I know, I own it.
Do you own that? I have the Blu-ray, so I wonder if the features that they got together on that will probably be on here. And apparently, someone was mentioning down below that like the Laserdisc has a ton of like making of and stuff that never saw the light of day on Blu-ray, and they would hope that something like that would maybe come over. I think I'd probably pick this up. It also comes with a poster, but I'm good without the poster. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is coming out in 4K by them. Also, the Shout Select label, which I thought is kind of interesting. It's coming out October 11th. No details again.
No Bogus Journey?
It is not a collector's edition, by the way, and
man, Shout's starting to get on my nerves now. They're milking this.
What are they milking? How are they milking?
They put out a set already in Blu-ray of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey, which tells me they have the rights to do this. And what they just did with Halloween, it seems like they're doing with Bill and Ted now.
Yeah,
just put them both out
for $36.
Yeah, I know, but put out Bogus Journey is beloved.
Yeah,
and it's
and
like,
I'm with
dude,
you.
put them out at the same time. Like,
We don't got time for this shit. I mean, is there an eventual box set with the third one?
That's what's going to happen.
Now,
or they're going to do like, and I own the box set of just the first two that released before the third one came out that Shout put out. They'll probably do that. Yeah. Then eventually get the rights to Face the Music and then do a 3, like, come on.
Well, this has actually already been released in 4K by Studio Canal like a year ago, and they had a Steelbook and a regular edition. So don't know if this will be their transfer, Studio Canal's transfer. Don't know. But it is coming out October 11th. Cool World. We covered Cool World so long ago. It finally has a date, September 13th. And
I thought it already came out.
It didn't. It's not out yet. And this is a collector's edition, but no features revealed. I'm so interested to see what kind of collector's edition this is. Is it going to be like the Deadly Friend one where there's like just 3 small things on it? Or what is Bakshi coming back? Like who's...
That's true. They could do a whole bunch of stuff just on him.
I don't know. What could it possibly be?
They could do a whole bunch of stuff just on him that has nothing to do with Cool World and fill it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then also Fargo was dated. Shout Select's putting that out. There isn't any news. It's not even on their website yet, but it
I
has
bought
been
that
dated.
damn Steelbook too. Wasn't that a 4K scan that they put out of Fargo?
I think it might have been, yeah.
I'm stupid. I'm just going to stop buying.
Well, this is coming out October 25th for all you idiots out there that might have already bought. But
throw me in a wood chipper, Matt.
Lastly, from Scream Factory, which is coming out August 16th in 4K, is Child's Play 4K. Now, we talked about this a while back when it got announced, and now just take an opportunity to plug it again, but also just talk our thoughts, discuss the film itself. Now, this is also coming with 2 and 3, which I want to touch on a little bit as well, but mainly Child's Play is, I feel like, the one that I know the most about, and the one that I'm going to be picking up. I'll let you open your wings and fly on 2 and 3, Russ.
You've never seen them?
I've never seen them. No. But this movie, did you know that this movie was originally called Batteries Not Included until they discovered Jessica Tandy's ass in the Steven Spielberg little ditty?
I believe it was Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah, I forgot. So they changed that. But this movie came out in 1988. Directed by Tom Holland.
Mm-hmm. Fright Night fame.
I didn't know that Spider-Man was alive in 1988.
My man made Fright Night. Did we even cover Fright Night?
We're going to cover
getting
Fright
a 4K
Night.
release too. I pre-ordered that damn thing.
We're covering Fright Night, but
Thought
you're
we
right.
were friends.
Psycho sequel.
He
directed that too, and a few Stephen King adaptations.
The second one.
Yeah.
83. Yeah. And that one actually over the years has gotten keeps getting revisionist love. And appreciation over the years. Dude, Tom Holland's decent.
Yeah, I mean,
and he made a great Spider-Man, as you pointed out.
Yeah, and this movie was a huge success. It spawned 6 sequels,
at least
a merchandise, a TV show. It was rebooted, I think.
No,
rebooted into a TV show. Is that what it is? Is it a whole new experience?
It's canon.
Is it canon? Okay.
And that's one thing I will always say. This series is the most consistent horror series. The internal logic.
Yeah.
Dude, from that remake, I think is the only thing that stands out. The TV series takes all of these movies into play.
Yeah.
Part 6 takes everything before it into play.
Yeah.
While introducing new characters. It's a fucking universe now at this point. It's crazy.
Well, I think too, it's like just something now that's just Chucky, this movie, but mainly Chucky, the character or the doll, is just like forever in pop culture. Like it's like you line them up, Chucky, Freddy, Jason.
And it was pretty immediate.
He's in there.
It was pretty
like,
immediate.
He's just one of those.
It didn't I don't feel like it was something that gradually. I think pretty much out the gate, Chucky was
like a thing.
Yeah,
it was just
like,
a thing. It's in every Halloween store,
stamped right from 1988 or whenever Child's Play came out on. I mean, it was. Yeah, dude. Well, the first one. What are your thoughts on the first one?
I was going to ask you, Russ. Why do you think it's great?
The first one?
Yeah, the first one. Why do you think it's great?
It's fun. It's a horror movie. It manages to still be horror while having comedic elements and funny. Like basically what I always loved about the Child's Play series, and it was evident in the first one as well, is that they knew the concept was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome concept, by the way.
It is an awesome concept, but they knew visually it's ridiculous. Right. They knew visually like anybody can just kick a doll across the room that is chasing you. And so they wisely, in my opinion, acknowledged the lunacy of it and threw comedy in there. And at first, when I rewatched the first one a couple years ago, and I did remember it as being more serious than what it ultimately was. Not that it is definitely the most serious entry out of any of them, but there are parts in there like, on the elevator with the old couple, what an ugly doll. And as soon as the elevator, fuck you, stuff like that. It's like they knew at the beginning that inherently this thing could be torn to shreds as far as logic goes. So let's have fun with it.
Yeah.
But not sacrificing, in my opinion, the story or the feeling it like it. You believe like Chris Sarandon's a great actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he sells it.
Yeah.
You do feel like Chucky is a little bit of a menace, like when they blow up that house in the one part.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was going to
like,
say.
He's genuinely fucking with a kid.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it more like, oh, even though it's funny and silly, the fact that it's a kid, he's very innocent, and that's your doll. When you're a kid, you love your...
Yeah.
And he trusts him in this movie, and that's what makes it great.
Well, my buddy was out at that time. The doll, My Buddy.
Yeah.
And that was like that as a kid watching it, that did kind of fuck with you a little bit. That was the point. I mean, that's what it was basically modeled after.
Yeah, it was either based on that or Cabbage Patch Kids. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. But when you were saying, it's silly and all that kind of stuff, I feel like what really made it effective, because it is an effective horror movie, is that the doll was so well done. I felt like I feel like the animatronic face when he laughed maniacally, when he expressed anger as the movie went on and he gets more fucked up looking and his hairline's like receding, he's starting to look like the Brad Dourif human. Mm-hmm. Like it's like terrifying. Like you said, you could kick that doll across the room, but if that menacing ass voice came out of that disgusting ass looking doll in real life, you'd be fucking terrified. You'd be running. Like that's some scary fucking shit. And I feel like they pull that off really well in this movie with the animatronic face or whatever they're using to like the puppetry.
And even
awesome.
even more impressive is we have other films to compare this to. For instance, Leprechaun is ridiculous concept as well. Involves obviously there's a small person running around in Child's Play for certain shots and all that. But Leprechaun couldn't nail that tone. I like the Leprechaun series, but
goofy as fuck.
Yeah, nobody's going to confuse that as anything more than comedy. Yeah. Where especially the original Child's Play, it's firmly in the horror category.
Yeah.
The acting, as you pointed out, I think I don't recall her name, but the mother's good in this.
She is,
and I'm going to get into something about Child's Play too. And honestly, right down to Jennifer Tilly coming in 4 and kind of sending the franchise in a different direction. There's always been great acting in these movies.
Yeah,
for horror movies. I'm not saying, oh man, Catherine Hicks, that is her name actually, it just came to
Catherine Hicks, yeah.
Oh, she should have been up for an Oscar. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the acting we're generally accustomed to in these types of films, I don't want to say it's subpar, but I mean, we forgive it if it is. And the thing that the Child's Play series does very well, good actors, giving it their all.
Chris Sarandon's like a hero in it. He's awesome.
Yeah,
He's popping off.
And let us not forget the voice of Chucky. He's a Brad Dourif. That's
Dude,
an Oscar-nominated actor.
I was going to say, you got to talk about that even for a second. Like, again, back to the doll, like, his voice made that thing so believably scary. Like, he was such an incredible, nuanced.
I was never scared.
But I mean, no, dude, it's like.
But it's iconic. Like,
It's
it was
designed
immediately
to be scary and menacing and funny and just get under your skin. And it like, what the doll looks like and what his voice sounds like is just
perfect synergy.
It's dude. It's just so
it matches perfect.
God,
you can't envision it any other way.
You can't, and he is the voice, and I'm so glad they never replaced him or he never left. I mean, they're still doing it.
And you know what's cool? Like I said about how this series always managed, even when it's straight off, it comes back and makes what's straight off canon in cool ways. Because I'm actually a fan of some of the later entries as well. You know, his daughter. Fiona Dourif, she comes in Curse and Cult.
Gotcha.
And she's good in it too, dude. Like everything. And actually, it's funny in Cult. She's because she's like the survivor of Curse, and she's in an insane asylum. So we got a lot of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest
kind
references coming from Chucky and shit. I think Chucky even says, like Brad Dourif says in one scene, like, "Oh, it's a fucking cuckoo's nest," like that. Which.
It's just getting more and more humorous.
See, that's the difference, though. I feel like I said, I pointed out in Child's Play 1, that humor was always there. The fuck you. Yeah. This wasn't like Nightmare on Elm Street, where Freddy Krueger was pretty much a menace up until part 3. Chucky was always pretty much the same from the beginning.
It's just the tone of the movie itself.
The tones change, yes, but the characters, and Chucky never does.
Yeah.
And this series has always been pretty woke.
Yeah.
Pretty ahead of its time with, I mean... children, foster children. You get into Bride of Chucky, you got Alexis Arquette, then you got John Waters and Seed of Chucky, which Seed of Chucky is all about having a child who is gender fluid. And this was 2005 or something. Like, this series has always been ahead of its time, and it always winks at you. It's always appropriate. It doesn't overdo its corniness or its chintziness or its shtick. It's just enough. It's just it's a cool series, man.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, there was a couple of things I didn't know about this first one, especially like when it was released, that it was about like 2 hours long. And and one of the main reasons, it got like a lot of the test audiences like panned it or whatever, so they kind of had to go back to the drawing board. And one of the biggest points of contention for this movie was how much screen time should Chucky get, whereas the producers and the writer, Don Mancini, I think was his name, and there was like another producer last name Kirshner, they were kind of saying, we want this to be like Jaws. We want this to be like Alien. Like, we want him to just kind of like not appear till maybe towards the end, or he just kind of lurks in the shadows. Like, we want this to be like more menacing and then whatever. And
that's
I guess
interesting. Don Mancini wanted that in the original?
And Tom Holland was against that. And he wanted it the other way. And he also, after they cut this 25 minutes out to sort of give Chucky a little less screen time and a little bit less story beats or whatever, Tom Holland left the production at that point. This was after the movie was already shot. It was just like now they're doing edits and everything. So he just like pieced out and let them take care of the final product.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But a point you're bringing up, Don Mancini, he's been involved in every entry, and he's involved in the series, and he's the creator. And I think that's another big part of why I think there's been such a consistency. Whether you like it or not is debatable and up for opinion. But I'd say out of any other horror franchise, and there are other horror franchises that I personally think are better, but I'm saying Child's Play, dude, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. The same dude from the beginning is following it through to the end.
Yeah. Same writer, too. That Don Mancini guy hasn't stopped writing it.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
talking about Don Mancini.
And Brad Dourif as well. I mean, they're both.
That's what I'm talking about, Don Mancini, the writer. He stuck with it from the beginning. He started
doing the damn show.
Yeah, that's what I said. Every movie he's been involved in.
Yeah.
Like, he's been there from the start, and that rarely happens.
Yeah.
I mean, Wes Craven got booted right after the first Nightmare.
Yeah.
They didn't do
Poor
2
guy.
with him. You know,
Poor guy.
And I think that speaks volumes of how I view this series as a whole. Very well put together as a series.
Oh, and one more thing too that I don't think I knew until earlier was that Brad Dourif wasn't the original Chucky voice, and that was another reason why test audiences hated it. It was a female. It was done by that
Yeardley Smith.
No, what was her name? Jessica. We were just talking about her. She was in. I think. Hold on. Do I have her right here? Jessica Walter, Lucille Bluth.
Really?
I guess she was doing it in a very, also trying to be menacing, and apparently they thought it worked. They were like playing around with different voices, but then when it went through test audiences, they were like, why don't we just have Brad, the guy who's playing the human? Why don't we just have him come and try to do the damn doll voice too? Since why would his voice change?
And especially if you're gonna say, because the movie sets up, you see Charles Lee Ray, you see Brad Dourif in the toy store getting killed and all that. Maybe if you didn't see him, and there was a different story,
and he didn't do the whole
that would work.
Summoning or whatever the hell it was.
Why all of a sudden does he sound like the great actress from Doctor Strange?
Right. So they threw her out and brought him in. But anyway, so I think this ended up at the end of the day, it became a huge success. It ended up being number 2 behind Rain Man for 1988. However, this is what Siskel said about it. Do you want to know what he said? Listen to this. Listen to this,
Both
Russ.
Ebert and Siskel were terrible to these kinds of movies.
I know. Listen to what he said, though. I love it. Siskel said, "Who was this trash made for? And why would you, and who, hold on, let me say that again. Who was this trash made for, and would you want to sit next to them in a theater?"
That's an awesome quote.
But Child's Play 2 came out 2 years after the first one, and now Chucky's chasing Andy in like foster care.
Yes.
None of the original cast other than Andy and Brad Dourif come back. Is that right?
True.
And this time, Brad Dourif did all of his lines ahead of time so that they could match the mouth up to his voice.
Interesting.
So it was a little bit more seamless. Critics panned this one too, but Mancini says that number 2 is known as the favorite of the fans.
I didn't know that. And I said that. I didn't know it was a fan favorite. I always thought people just went with the first. It is. And I can tell you why. It is fun from beginning to end. It is fast paced. Again, it's silly without like beating you over the head. You're having fun with it. It's not talking down to the genre. It's just being in the genre and having fun with it. And one secret weapon that 2 has, and I don't know how many people have pointed this out. This is just my opinion. His foster sister. I don't know her name either. She's a main character. She's like the one who believes him, and finally, like oh shit,
cracks
this is
it.
real. Nobody believes him, and that girl is incredible. Like the times I've seen Child's Play 2, I'm always like, dude, why wasn't she in like a Spielberg movie? Why didn't they get this girl?
Yeah.
She's incredible. I believe it 100%. I believe her. I believe her relationship with Andy. I believe why Andy would trust her. Like, it feels so genuine for a horror sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just great casting with her.
Wow.
And that just, in my opinion, continues the trend in the Child's Play series.
So what about Child's Play 3? So that came out 9 months after 2. But it takes place 8 years later.
Yeah, it does. Because Andy's recast.
Yeah, and is he? Okay, yeah. Well, this one I guess opened to even worse reviews than the second one, made even less money.
It's
and
not
then
too.
the next movie didn't even come out till like 7 years later.
And it was a complete reinvention, basically.
Well, I was gonna say, did Don Mancini like kind of like get depressed and say, and then like reinvent it later on?
I mean, I've seen him in interviews and stuff. He has a good sense of humor. He doesn't seem depressed about anything. He just seems like he has fun with this series and he enjoys doing it, and the people he works with. Clearly, he's a fan of Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
3, honestly, it's not that bad. It's not bad. You could do a lot worse. There are way worse horror sequels than Child's Play 3. But yeah, the recasting, the military academy setting, it's more drab. Like everything I said about Child's Play 2 that is a blast, Child's Play 3 feels more like drag. This is like nothing in it's good. Like Andy's not, I don't know. It's just, it does have one great thing. I remember being a kid watching it, and I saw there's a part where, they're in a military academy and they're doing like this practice, like soldier, like practice battle stuff, and Chucky replaces the fake bullets with real bullets.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And when I was a
Classic
kid,
Chucky.
When I was a kid, I thought that was like the darkest thing in the world. I was young when did it come out? 91. I saw it when it came out, so I'm like 9 or something. And I remember thinking like, whoa, that is so messed up. And no one would know it's the doll, because what doll?
Yeah.
Like,
it's pretty fucked
live
up.
ammunition. And it does have a cool ending. I always like the ending of 3.
Well, are you going to pick up this bundle? Are you going to pick up any of these individually? What'd you do? Are you going to wait for the inevitable other ones to come out, another bigger box like Shouts or Screams been doing?
I have that ugly yellow Chucky set. I hate it.
I'm going with the Best Buy steel. It's got that original
I
art.
want it.
Like
it
that.
looks nice. That's the one, and it's funny because I'd love to own two. If they did a steelbook in the style of one for two, I'd be picking up both of them. I'm like you. I'm hesitant because this series is so strong. I would love a box set of all of them in 4K. So I don't know. I think I'm going to skip.
You're going to skip this
But
time?
that has nothing to do with the quality. Like I said, that Best Buy Steelbook, I'm with you. I like the original art.
Yeah.
It looks sweet.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's definitely what I'm going to go with. So,
Even the Scream Factory designs, they're not
they're
not
good.
terrible.
No, they're good. And they give you alternate slips, too, if you want them.
Yeah.
There's alternate slips. So this is out August 16th for all you Child's Play fans. Like I said, I'll be getting the Steelbook, and Russ will be passing. But some more news, Russ. Some more fantastic Blu news that we've really been missing out on comes from our good friends at Criterion. And they put out their next slate of releases. Two of the bigger ones that I noticed on here were Night of the Living Dead in 4K and The Lost Highway in 4K. So Night of the Living Dead's coming out August 4th, and it was also released by Criterion like in 2018 on Blu-ray. And it was released in the exact same art. So this is just kind of one that they're just re-putting back out with a 4K disc, it seems like. It is labeled as a digipack, so it sounds like maybe it's one like a Citizen Kane or a Irishman or something where it folds out to some degree. It says that it's arriving with a previously completed 4K restoration supervised by Romero and like 4 people in the production crew. And it also has a previously restored mono soundtrack. It appears to have one 4K disc with the film and then 2 Blues with extras, which includes a work print of the film as well. Does seem to be identical features from the last release, but it is a lot. Mm-hmm. Have you ever bought this from Criterion or anyone otherwise?
No, I've never picked up. And see, this is one of those titles. I want to say it's public domain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you can just watch it anywhere, somewhere?
Well, because of that, if it's not public domain, there is something about the rights to Night of the Living Dead that make it very easy for everyone to access and release. So it's one of those titles I never feel the immediacy in picking it up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I always feel like I can just wait. Yeah. It is a classic movie, great movie, landmark film, obviously, but yeah, it's always just there. I never feel like I have to own it.
Gotcha.
But that's the set to get. I like that 4K. I like the artwork, that Criterion. I mean, it's pretty released, but I always thought it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool. And I will say that I watched Raging Bull and it looked incredible. Based on and in black and white, it looks amazing. And I'm thinking Night of the Living Dead in black and white might also, get that same kind of, quality upgrade. Now, I will say when I looked at the previous Criterion release in blue for Raging Bull, it wasn't that much of a difference. There's definitely sharpness and the blacks get blacker and that kind of stuff, but it's going to be maybe just like a minimal upgrade if you already have the blue. Maybe that's just something to decide. But out October 11th also on 4K from Criterion for the first time in 4K and from Criterion is Lost Highway. So this is a new pickup for them.
Was Lost Highway ever on Blu-ray?
I believe so.
It was?
I believe so.
How did Kino put it out?
I don't think Kino ate their lunch on this one. It was probably just some rando, but Lynch himself supervised this 4K restoration. There's Dolby Vision HDR involved, a new DTS HD master track, solid features. Again, this is new for Criterion. They're putting out a full-length 1997 documentary, The Art of David Lynch, which includes set footage of Lost Highway, archival interviews with Lynch and the cast. Lynch reads from his book Lynch reads from his book Room to Dream. I don't know for how long, but he's going to read you some passages. And then there's a booklet. I will say this one completely flew over my head when I watched it. It probably was meant to. I probably owe it a rewatch. I don't know that I'm picking this up, but I will say it's got a fire soundtrack. What are your thoughts on this movie?
Pretty much same. I'm open to rewatching it. When I first saw it, the only David Lynch films I had seen previously, because this came out in 97, you and I were 15 years old. The only David Lynch film I had seen before Lost Highway was Blue Velvet. I don't even think I'd seen Wild at Heart yet. And Blue Velvet is, you know, for a David Lynch movie, Blue Velvet's pretty linear and you can follow it. And
Yeah.
I thought when I always heard David Lynch was weird, I was like, well, if Blue Velvet's weird, that ain't shit. And then I watched Lost Highway and I'm like, what?
happened?
I don't even understand what I
What's
just
happening?
watched.
Yeah.
But like you said, I love the soundtrack. I'm open to give it another shot.
I watched it when it came out, so I feel like I could maybe at least, it might appeal to me a little bit more.
Exactly. And I've seen many more David Lynch films since I've attempted this as a 15-year-old. I'd like to revisit it. But based on my memories and comparing it to the Lynch films I've seen since, I still don't think it's anywhere. It's nowhere near Elephant Man, Eraserhead, even Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
Even Wild at Heart, I would put above Lost Highway.
Okay.
But like you said, we're kind of
We're
unreliable narrators on
are.
this one.
We
We
are.
can't. Don't listen to us on this one. Tell us if we should rewatch it, or if we shouldn't waste our time and our initial thoughts were correct.
And I think the the Lost Highway art here looks nice. I'm sure Criterion's going to do it well.
That is cool artwork.
It is. I think it looks nice. But one of the more exciting announcements that I saw this week that we did discuss as a rumor finally came from Arrow for their October slate, and that is Videodrome in 4K coming out October 24th. And now this is coming from Arrow UK only at the moment. It's arriving with a brand new 4K restoration from the original camera negative. Not only of the director's cut, but the theatrical cut as well is getting this restoration.
That's cool.
Supervised by David Cronenberg himself. There are an insane amount of features that are included. They're the same as when Arrow put this out before on Blue, but so much stuff. Commentaries, documentaries, roundtables, interviews, the list.
The Criterion ones are on here as well.
Actually, I don't know. I'm going to have to look more into that, Russ. I forgot about them putting that out, but this one's just got a ton of stuff. I'm assuming...
I just show up here and talk. You're supposed to prepare all this.
I doubt that
information
Arrow
for me.
reached out and got anything from Criterion. They're probably just putting
They
their
reached out to
same.
Kino.
They're probably just putting their same stuff out. But there are two separate versions that you can get. So this is the one version that pretty much any retailer, Amazon UK, is selling, and this is the art from the first time that they put this out. The sleeping woman under this television, and you're getting the photos.
That's Debbie Harry, dude.
Debbie Harry. It's the you're getting photos, you're getting the poster of the original art, a booklet, and so forth. But now the Arrow website exclusive is the same exact set, of course, but you're getting the original art instead, which I think I like more. And it comes with the change here though is depending on which one you get. The booklet, the poster, and the disc art changes. So if you look here, you're kind of getting a bit of a difference.
Oh,
in
the poster, yeah.
Yes.
You're getting the original artwork poster with the Debbie Harry cover.
Right.
Well, I guess she's on both.
I kind of like having an alternate poster because I don't do anything with those anyway, and it's just kind of nice that there's something different in there than the art when all I really want is the art on the box.
You know what's crazy? I know you were about to ask me, so Russ, are you picking this up? I own this Criterion. I think I'm on record on this on our pod as saying this is probably the best Cronenberg film.
Yeah.
I'm definitely picking it up. I was initially going to go with the alternate cover, not the original artwork, because I'm a fan of Blondie as well and Debbie Harry.
Mm-hmm.
But I I just noticed that, what you said, that alternate poster in the original artwork one actually it's like a Debbie Harry focused poster.
Yeah.
Rather than the original artwork poster. I don't know. I'm torn. What should I do?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. I feel like the price is right. That's only $36.
Yeah.
That's the price is right on that. That's
Dude,
awesome.
when we're done recording, I'm going to just pre-order this now.
I mean, that's the price of a Criterion release. That's the price of, you know what I mean? Like any of those Scream Factories we just covered were all $36. I mean, that's what this is. That's a great price for what you're getting.
And I guarantee you, we know what Arrow boxes are like. That's going to be a nicer set than any of those Shout Factory, Scream Factory ones we cut. No disrespect to them, but this is going to be a thicker case. And wow. That's a great price.
I know, it's awesome. And I mean,
anyone watching, you can't go wrong with either edition if that's the price.
No. And I think I'm going to, I mean, I asked you this the last time we talked about the rumor, and I said, you know, I love Cronenberg. I love James Woods.
You'll love it.
I just bought Crash, haven't watched it yet, but I have a feeling I would love it. And I feel like because the price is so reasonable, you just go.
Blind
just
buy
get it, right?
Honestly, I think you'll like this more than Crash.
Okay.
Crash is a hard movie to recommend. You're either going to dig it or not. I know you love The Fly. This is the same era. Oh my God. And it's arguably better than The Fly, man. If I had to say, see, that's the thing. When I'm saying what's the best Cronenberg film, and I'm looking at his horror output. So I'm stopping around like, let's say, Dead Ringers, right? It comes down to Videodrome or The Fly, and I gotta give him the John Carpenter rule, which is I can't say The Thing is John Carpenter's best movie because there was
something before.
He's riffing on something.
Yeah.
So to me, it's Halloween. I can't say The Fly is his then because he's riffing on something that already existed where this was original.
Yeah.
So I think I got to go Videodrome as the best Cronenberg film.
I have a strong feeling I'm going to blind buy this, and when it comes out, let's come back and actually talk about it because I'd like to watch it, and then we'll give the full thoughts.
And you know why? Because it's more, dude. It's more your style than mine, and I love it.
Okay,
it's more sci-fi.
I just can't wait to see James Woods.
The ending is bad
shit
shit
crazy.
Dude, you're gonna love it. It's more your type of movie than mine, even. So like, yeah, blind buy it, dude.
Anyone else out there blind buying this? Let us know.
You're the only person who hasn't seen it, man.
Okay. Moving right along to Kino, our good friends at Kino. So they've got a few interesting things that are coming out. One being Tropic Thunder. Again, we covered this when it was just announced. Now all the details, the date, it's September 13th. It's coming out. 2-disc edition, 4K theatrical, but Blu-ray of the director's cut. It's going to get the same restoration though. So there's going to be a restoration, 4K restoration supervised by Stiller and a Dolby Vision HDR presentation. The Blu-ray will get that same restoration, but that's only the director's cut. And that split has seemed to divide people because some people are saying they wanted 4K of both, or they wanted the 4K of the director's and theatrical should have been, vice versa. So I'm not really sure. The director's cut, for those who aren't in the know, contains 17 minutes more, and apparently it's like 34 extended scenes, which got cut for gore to try to keep it, in the R range because it was beyond that. And then 12 additional scenes, a music change, like a bunch of different little things that kind of flesh the movie out. Some of which I read was bloat, some of which maybe gives a little bit more nuance to this very highbrow film. But this movie I did own on Blu-ray, and it had a ton of features, and all those are here. And it's such a, just a deep dive into the complete making of this, from the creation of it, the casting of it, the makeup of it, them going to the MTV Movie Awards, like the beginning to end, the DVD commentaries, all of it. And it comes with a nice slip too. Look, it's got that like alternate art slip around the original art Kino, and I like it. Stay classy.
Nah, there's only one feature that if they didn't have the one feature that's worth picking this up for, nah.
Audio commentary.
This movie's good. I like this movie. It's not a movie I would have bought, but I bought it anyway, and it's for that goddamn commentary.
There it is on the 4K disc.
Dude, that commentary is hysterical. It's better than the movie itself. I would rather watch that movie with that commentary than sit through the film. And Downey, I just love that commitment. I thought that was hilarious. A throwaway line in the movie, like, I stay in character all the way through the DVD commentary. Yep. And then he actually does it. It's not, so if you're reading these specs and you're not in the know, this is not a traditional commentary that features Ben Stiller, Jack Black, and Robert Downey Jr. This is a commentary with Ben Stiller, Jack Black, and Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Tropic Thunder. He is still in character.
Kurt Lazarus.
He is still in character for this commentary, and it's brilliant. It's hilarious. To me, that's the crowning jewel. That's the sole reason to pick up this release.
I think I'm going to pick it up. Yeah, I mean,
you're going to upgrade it. See, I still have the DVD, and for me, it's just the commentary. I think I'm going to go for it. I could hold off.
I think I'm going to go for it, but maybe I can't hold off, as probably you can't, on Hudson Hawk.
Oh, I can hold off.
From Kino on Blu, out September 27th. No news on any restoration, but the extras are nice. You got a commentary from the director, a 30-minute feature talking about the story of Hudson Hawk with Willis and a producer himself. Now, this is...
I take it back. That's probably hilarious.
This isn't modern-day Willis, I don't think. It doesn't say that. I'm assuming it's at the time that this was made. There's a music video, deleted scenes, a conversation with Sandra Bernhard. And it also gets a slip over top of it as well, which, looks good. Day one buy for us.
They already put out a Blu-ray of this that had a slip.
Well, they're putting another one out, okay? They're cashing in.
This movie's insane.
Well, it's coming out for the fans. Any fans out there? Russ, you're not a fan of this? I mean, look at the fucking box art. Look at his face, for God's sake.
And you know what? That fits the movie. This movie's weird, man. just give it a shot. You trust me. The minute The minute you see him and Danny Aiello robbing someplace and it breaks out into a musical with Bruce Willis and Danny Aiello. And Danny Aiello can sing it all, but come on. It's Bruno here.
I love it.
Like,
Dress to Kill 4K, Russ. It got a date.
Nice.
October 25th. Nothing else at this time, but it's coming out October 25th.
Pick that up. That's a day one.
That's a Kino.
I got to start like taking a list down when we do these pods because I need to do. What did I say? Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Videodrome and Dress to Kill. I need to go break the bank as soon as we're done filming.
Maybe you're going to break the bank a little bit more with Blind Fury coming from Kino Lorber. Now, this is out October 11th. It was previously put out on Blu-ray by Kino by Mill Creek in that VHS edition. Yes. Now, what's funny about this is there's a new audio commentary by the screenwriter, but it also says the theatrical trailer newly remastered in 2K. Now, I don't know if that's like a typo. That's supposed to be its own line because the movie has now been remastered in 2K. But as for now, we can only verify that the trailer has been remastered in 2K. That's the only thing that I can verify at this moment.
Day one.
I
need that trailer in
I know.
2K,
And you know what's funny is a lot of people were like, I'm good with my Mill Creek because it looks like crap. And that's what this movie should look like. I mean, they don't want the 2K upgraded picture. They want it to look like a chintzy VHS because that's what they grew up on, Cinemax or whatever this shit was on.
It is a good movie.
I don't remember the tagline being, he may be blind, but he don't need no dog.
Come on.
What is that? What was
Let me
that
ask you,
tagline?
is there anything they got wrong with this movie or the release? Everything is, dude, come on. Perfect tagline. Look at that cover.
I know. We got to point people to our previous Blind Fury review that we did. I think, Russ, you went off for quite some time.
This man's Hataro Hanzai sword just slit through a revolver on the cover. I love it, man. This movie's badass.
Well, you can pick it up for yourself.
I tell you what.
That trailer is going to be remastered in 2K, baby.
I tell you what. This movie is
Blind Humor, some of your favorite.
That too. This movie is at least 5 times better than Hobo with a Shotgun.
Oh, well, Rutger Hauer's a legend.
Yeah,
I mean, this is just silly.
You didn't let me finish.
Okay.
It's 5 times better than Hobo with a Shotgun and 10 times better than Blade Runner. No, but honestly, this is a perfect movie too because it's funny. You can laugh at it, but you can laugh with it too because the internal logic works and it works well as a movie. And of course, this is like what 89 or something.
And they're having
90.
fun.
Yes.
I mean, they're having the fun.
And you're having fun watching it.
He's having fun. Look at his face. He's having fun.
He's having fun making
having
it.
a blast.
It's a fun movie. It is very fun.
He's having a blast.
I wholeheartedly love that movie.
It says Studio Classic, Russ. This has been deemed a classic by Kino.
Kino, you're doing the Lord's work. You're doing the Lord's work.
Philip Noyce. Well, we got to move on. Russ. We can't keep talking about.
Honestly,
if the fans want more Blind Fury, let us know below. We'll come back with a full review.
Classic should be in the highest, largest font possible, just splattered all over that cover. Matter of fact, just write classic on the cover, no artwork, nothing else. And I know I'm buying Blind Fury.
Okay. Blind Fury coming out October 11th. Moving over across the pond to Australia, Umbrella Entertainment, they put a little slate of films out, one that I thought was interesting and one that I'm definitely going to get. The first one is this movie Martyrs. Have you heard of this movie, Russ?
I'm aware of it. I've never actually seen it.
Yeah, it gets thrown around in that conversation with like other French, like extreme horror, like Inside. And I've even seen people comment on our page about the Serbian film watch that we did. And they're like, oh, you should watch Martyrs, or, oh, Martyrs was way worse, and that kind of shit. So it kind of gets talked about in that way. But this was getting released by them in that sort of 250 limited edition piece set like The Love Witch got. I guess they're doing this a little bit more. But this is like one of those movies where I don't know that I need the art cards. I mean, there's some like really brutal shit that's going on. Like, what do I need these art cards for? I feel like it makes it worse. I feel like I'm fucked up. I go take these out and look at them. Like,
Take them to work, share your coworkers.
Yeah, I don't know
what I picked up.
It comes with like a booklet and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. The regular edition's available. This 251 is sold out. It's totally different subject matter than those other horror movies I mentioned, but it is kind of tough to watch with the amount of gore and so on that goes in it. Interesting twists, but
you have me intrigued.
It's interesting. It's solid French horror, but the main one that I'm really interested in is Mask.
Now, this is probably the pinnacle of Peter Bogdanovich horror.
Now, Mask is one of my childhood favorites, you son of a bitch.
The makeup work on the monster is phenomenal.
One of my childhood
Edit
faves.
that out. That was so fucking mean.
Coming out September 7th, just for me, on Blu from Umbrella, in a nice-ass slip box with the original poster art with Cher, you know, putting her hands in the air in the sunset.
Wait, that's supposed to be Cher on the cover? I always thought it was Rocky Dennis.
Maybe it is.
But actually, now that I'm seeing a bigger... I mean, it's not like I contemplated this shit over the years.
Maybe it is him. I don't know. I just feel like it was her.
No, you're right. It does look more like... What is she so happy about? She's like a loser throughout this movie. She's like a terrible mom throughout this movie. What is she like? Yes, I'm awesome.
Yes. I don't know.
I'm going to go get drunk and loaded with my motorcycle friends while my son with a goddamn rare debilitating disease suffers.
Exactly. That's why she's cheering. But what you might notice is that it says director's cut at the top. And you might be saying to yourself, what the hell is the director's cut?
He did.
And the only thing that I was able to find is that it's just a different music choices that were used, not necessarily anything different with the film. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I hope that I am, because the theatrical one uses Bob Seger, which is the one I grew up on. It's the only one I could probably listen to at this point. Yeah. Director's cut comes with the boss himself, Bruce Springsteen, which was the director's initial intent for this movie. Bob Seger works way better. I think you and I both agree. But I couldn't even probably listen to the Bruce Springsteen ones and not be jarred right the hell out of this universe.
What songs? Do we know what songs?
I don't know.
Born to run.
I would like some art cards and a poster with this.
Actually, I can picture Bruce Springsteen in this movie. Now I'm thinking about it.
Maybe Born to Run. Maybe when he's like putting up he's like ripping down the thing, like the tacks off the board because he's not going on that trip anymore. I don't know. His mom's ripping up the baseball cards and he slams the door. And
all you care about is your damn baseball cards. All you care about is getting loaded. That was a mic drop moment. Rocky Dennis was like, "Fuck you, mom."
And he was right on the money too.
She slapped his ass.
Yeah. After that. And then Bob Seger played.
And then she went out in the sunset like, "Yeah, I slapped the shit out of my son. He's got a fucking disease that is incurable and rare."
You're a terrible person.
Yeah, she is. Cher is. I agree.
Another quick shout out. Maybe people care, but I feel like this is more of like an inside thing.
Go back for a second.
I can. It's gone.
Dude, what was the artwork inside of it?
It
looked like The Outsiders, but it was Gar's bike gang.
Yeah, it was the bike gang photo.
I don't want to slip. Yeah. I want that.
Rocky's probably right here. Dude. Gar's right here. Look, they're all going to be hugging him. That's what it is. Here, look. You want to see it, you asshole? There it is.
Oh, shit.
Rocky's left corner, baby.
I want a poster of that. Where's the poster in this one?
This guy got cut off. Dude. This looks like Friends. This looks like the Friends font. It's missing those like dots.
This is like Friends and Sons of Anarchy combined.
It is. It's just missing those colorful dots in between the letters, and this is damn Friends. Central Perk.
No one told Rocky Dennis' life was going to be this way. We shouldn't have covered this.
We shouldn't. You're a horrible person. But just to wrap up this little segment before we move over to some Steelbooks.
I'm buying that. I'm buying it, Matt.
I'm buying
it. I don't want the slip. I want that cover.
I'm buying it.
Holy shit. They're going to catch some RICO charges and gang shit, man. All right, let's go.
For everyone that bought that 30th anniversary Wayne's World Blu-ray,
Dana Carvey.
F you, because the 4K is coming out. Just as we predicted, just as we talked about what assholes Paramount were for putting out just like this 30th anniversary Steelbook just in a blue. Why isn't it 4K? It makes no sense. Well, here it comes from Paramount in 4K. Currently only being released, or currently the pre-order's only on the French Amazon, but I'm sure that'll be in America in no time. Yeah. So, Good Burger, you're next.
I was just about to say that. I was like, Wayne's World's getting this. Come on, get Keenan and Kel into the booth. Let's get a commentary going.
Yeah, but
I'll pick that up, actually. I like it doesn't have two, and I don't hate Wayne's World 2, but I think Wayne's World, honestly,
I'm holding out for the 4K.
I know we'll have a discussion about it when it comes out, when it drops, but real quick, I'd argue I think Wayne's World is the best SNL movie.
I'd have to go through see a list, but I feel like it's very strong. It's top 5 if I could think of a different one.
I enjoy MacGruber. I love MacGruber, seen it a million times, but I can see that MacGruber isn't like a great film. Wayne's World's actually well made.
Oh, it's a good movie. I agree.
I think it's better than Blues Brothers.
Agreed also. It's funnier.
Yes.
It's tighter.
I think it's way better. Coneheads isn't that good of a movie at all.
No. Pat. It's Pat, ladies' man.
Oh, I take it back. You're right. It's Pat is the crown.
Let's talk about some Steelbooks that you picked up, Russ, before we go into our Steelbook segment.
Okay.
And you were excited to get your hands on the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade Steelbook. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is actually one that I am kind of upset by, because we're going to talk about the Godfather Steelbooks in a second. And I feel like I'm happy to have that as a set because it's a great trilogy. Whereas Indiana Jones, the release that I got, and you rightly so pointed out, it sucks because it has Crystal Skull in it. You don't want to buy anything with Crystal Skull in it. I bought it just because that's what it was. And now all these Steelbooks are coming out that maybe I should have anticipated, but didn't. Not only are they original art, but you don't have to have Crystal Skull if you don't want, and you can cherry pick if you'd like. And I know I'm
an indie connoisseur. I've been doing this for multiple formats now. On DVD, and back in 2008 when Crystal Skull came out, you know, they always did that. Like, oh, let's put out a box set while the new one's coming out. It was just the 3. I was like, I know you're going to re-release this with Crystal Skull. Don't care. I'm buying this set on DVD of just the original 3. But
did you buy the first 2 already?
I have them with me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I do.
Dude, they're nice.
I know, dude. I picked up, and it doesn't say Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
It just says Raiders of the Lost Ark. Original artwork. Yeah, dude. Temple of Doom. Look at this.
Dude, those look awesome.
Beautiful.
I'm so pissed
4K.
off.
You said you open them up.
Little insert in there.
Whoa.
Little poster thing or something.
Comes with posters. Ooh.
Yeah, dude. I'm so angry. This is definitely the route I should have gone. They're beautiful Steelbooks, too. That's what, God damn it.
They're beautiful Steelbooks.
God
they are.
damn it.
They're not like those chintzy-ass Lost Boys looking stupid color. No. These are detailed. They shine. And, of course, who was it? Drew Struzan, the poster artist. I mean, these are classic posters. Look at that shit.
I know, dude.
I'll let you hold them for a minute, but give them back.
Oh, my God. Dude,
but you're right. And I've got Last Crusade pre-ordered. Can't wait to have all 3 of them on my shelf with the absence of Crystal Skull.
I'm so...
Look at that shit.
Dude, that looks amazing.
It does, doesn't it?
I'm so angry. I can't rebuy them. I can't double dip. I can't do it, but I'm so angry. That's so nice.
And I think, but I'll throw you a pass. I think your rationale at the time, you hadn't seen Raiders.
I didn't.
So I think you were just like, all right, I'm doing this I got 2 movies I haven't really seen, and just Temple of Doom and Last Crusade. But now you've seen Raiders, and you're like, whoops.
I know. It sucks. And, well, like you said, Crystal Skull's arriving in September.
Yeah.
This one's coming out August 16th in 2 weeks. Now, obviously the releases are great, but just to talk about this movie for a second, because it is a great entry into this trilogy. It is, I think, known, and Steven Spielberg noted it, and we'll talk about that too, but this is sort of the reworked Indiana Jones formula to be a little less dark than Temple of Doom. Hit theaters in 1989.
Yep, I saw it 3 times.
Directed by Steven Spielberg one more time. Brought him back. It was a box office success, like a huge box office success. 100 million more than Temple of Doom at the time, but I think due to inflation, Temple of Doom might still have been more in the long run. But Temple of Doom was also less than Raiders.
How much inflation would have occurred
I don't know.
in 5 years?
Apparently prices went up as well as some other societal differences, but I don't know. It beat out Batman. It beat out Ghostbusters too.
It beat out Batman?
And the highest grossing
Last Crusade beat out Batman.
Highest grossing film of the year.
I didn't know that. Wow.
And Crocodile Dundee too.
Well,
Did you know that?
But I mean,
did you know that?
I'm shocked. I didn't know it beat Batman.
Yeah.
I knew it would have been like neck and neck, but wow.
Inspired the television show.
Yeah, the young adventures of young whatever. Never watched it.
And then 20 years later, we got the Crystal Skull.
I heard that show's good though.
I never saw it. It stars Powder.
I've always it does. I've always heard fans say that show's actually pretty good.
Well, Russ,
I'm sure it's better than Crystal Skull.
I bet it's better than Crystal Skull. I'd be interested in going back and watching that. But why is Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade great? Why do you like it?
I'll let you take that because you kind of started this off assuming that I have no complaints about Last Crusade.
No, I want to hear your complaints. I want to hear, but first I want to hear why you think it's great.
Oh, it's great, man. The chemistry. You remember at the time bringing Sean Connery in as the father. It's like, oh, you got James Bond as the dad, Indiana Jones. This isn't new for Spielberg. Spielberg injects daddy issues into every movie he makes.
Yeah.
Of course, he had to do it with Indiana Jones. but their chemistry is great.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
funny.
Great
man.
cast
Go back
together.
How he antagonizes Indy is hilarious.
Yeah, because they're not close. So like, so there's like that humor to it. Like there's no love kind of until towards the end, you know?
Yeah. And
Spoiler
again,
alert.
but it's not dark either. No one's looking at like Sean Connery, you absent
He's not a
dickhead
prick.
dad.
Right,
it's like
right.
he's just
It's
in
humorous.
Yeah. Great things about this movie. Yeah, he definitely went back to the Raiders aspect, bringing back cast members.
And he said it, yeah.
I have a complaint about some of that.
Okay.
Nah, dude, it's a blast.
Yeah,
it is. Like, what can you complain about this movie? It's a perfect romp. It's not as good as Raiders, but it's more comedic. It's more family friendly.
It's more entertaining than Temple of Doom.
It's the most
at
comedic
least.
out of all. It's even more comedic than Crystal Skull, honestly.
Yeah, and I think the difference between the two, and it's obvious because it was reworked, and that's part of what Steven Spielberg said. He was like, I have to finish this trilogy. It's kind of like an obligation of mine, but I'm also course correcting because of the criticism from the last one. But this movie is just fun. Like, it's so fun. Like, Temple of Doom does have like a twisted sort of sense to it, a little bit more macabre.
Temple of Doom's dark.
Yeah, like this one's fun. Like the set pieces, the chases, all the different locations. Like Temple of Doom kind of stays in one location for a large part of the movie. You're in this castle, then you're in the catacombs or whatever. But dude, this is
true.
You've got the prologue where they're on the train when he's young. You've got that boat thing in Venice. You've got the Austrian like castle, the Zeppelin ride, like
you skipped over
tank battle. Like there's so much different changes.
You're talking about the boat ride in Venice. You skipped over the boat thing where it cuts into after the River Phoenix section. You got that boat sequence in the opening act too.
There's so many huge sequences, like location changes. It's just fresh. It just feels fresh.
I don't care. Even as a kid, I always thought when he runs into Hitler, I always thought that part is so funny.
Yeah, he runs into Hitler. Yeah, true.
I always thought that was really funny.
No, true. And I mean, I'm not necessarily a religious person, but I thought the mystery or whatever you want to call it, like the mission, I thought was fun. Whereas Temple of Doom, it's a little not like trying to find these three little, crystals to bring back to a village. It was fine. This, I kind of liked that there was more intrigue, there was more puzzle pieces to put together.
Well,
it was more entertaining.
That's kind of the laziness, though.
Why? Because it's like more
that's
borrowing
Raiders.
From right. It is, and
that's Raiders.
Admittedly, that's what he's doing. Admittedly, yes.
And right down to so here are my complaints.
Okay.
Yes, this is the Phantom Menace, or I'm sorry, not Phantom Menace. This is the Force Awakens for the Indiana Jones series in a way. In its time, it wasn't as egregious.
I was about to
Crystal
say
Skull is basically that.
Yeah, I was going to say
Crystal Skull is the. Actually, no, I take that back. Crystal Skull is the Phantom Menace of the Indiana Jones series. But I'll say this:
The Force Awakens,
it's trying.
Or the Phantom Menace?
No. For me, Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace.
Crystal Skull was my Phantom Menace where I could use that stupid phrase of "this raped my childhood" or whatever people used to say about Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Where it was like, because I didn't care about Star Wars when I was a kid. Not at all. I didn't give a shit. But I loved Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So when Crystal Skull came out, I was pumped the way people were with Phantom Menace. And we all know how that went down. That's how I felt when I saw Crystal Skull. I was like, oh my God. Like, how did you fuck it up that bad?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, of course, Last Crusade is great. It's doing Raiders in a more family way. Not that Raiders was some hard ass movie to begin with, but right down to the ending where it's like, let's do let's horrific
melt
thing.
Another Nazi.
Yes. I never liked how they made Marcus Brody a buffoon in this one. He's not that at all in Raiders.
I agree.
And it's like all of a sudden he had like a head injury, I guess, in between the two movies, and he's a child now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't.
So, like I said, those are very minor complaints.
Yeah, and now that I've seen Raiders,
oh yeah, back to Nazis, back to just like Raiders, back to the Christianity religion aspect of it.
And I had only ever seen Temple and Last Crusade for the longest time until we started this channel, and I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark like last year. Having seen it, I can immediately see what they borrowed, what they were inspired by. Like it's clear as day, like that they're, like you said, they're going back to a lot of these same elements.
But Spielberg still had juice.
He did have juice.
He still had juice in '89.
I disagree that I don't think it went full The Force Awakens. I don't think they completely rehashed everything and like
You're right.
did certain things with characters that were like annoying. Like Indiana Jones was still compelling, you know, like the new Sean Connery, awesome.
You're right.
You know, I think it's definitely, I think it still feels fresh despite what they know works and they're trying to throw it in
I guess what I'm trying to say is, and it's funny because Spielberg was always so apologetic about Temple of Doom. He literally publicly apologized about it, saying like, I was going through a divorce and all this stuff. It just came out so much darker than I intended. But I think in hindsight and as time goes on, we all love Temple of Doom because it's different.
Yeah.
Because it is, and I don't care, dude, out of all three of these movies, and yes, there's only three, the end of Temple of Doom, I still to this day get like nervous on that damn bridge.
Yeah.
I like even watching that scene, I'm like,
it's an intense scene.
Shit. And there ain't nothing like that in Last Crusade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and I think that's what and that's not a diss on Last Crusade. It's just, I think Temple of Doom kind of deserves more respect. You know, the casual racism aside, there are problems in this movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, just that dark approach, I don't think he should have apologized for it.
No.
I think he made a badass movie with this character.
Yeah, he did.
And you do know it takes place before Raiders, right?
It does. It's like it's before and this is after both. Yep. Yeah. So no, I totally agree. I feel like this movie, if now that I've seen all three, this one might, from an entertainment value standpoint, might be the number two.
Yes.
But Temple of Doom, like nostalgia is a hell of a drug, dude. Yep. It's like that one's like, I'll tell you this, rough. And
I remember being a kid, being like in second grade or something, being at recess, and we would all play like Indiana Jones, and every kid, all of us wanted to be Short Round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just that ingrained in nostalgia.
Or you wanted to rip someone's heart out.
I mean, I did that anyway.
Yes.
Even when we weren't playing Indiana Jones. But
no,
true. I agree. Dude, I think we're going to line up. I think we're simpatico here. Raiders is the best. Mm-hmm. Temple of Doom has balls, and I fucking dig it. So I always want to put it in the second spot, but you're right. Last Crusade just has way more heart, and it is a little more enjoyable to sit through than Temple of Doom.
I agree.
So I've always looked at it as they're equal.
Yeah.
I've always looked at it as, and for different reasons. You know, you can... And I love that. It would have. Imagine if Spielberg wasn't going through a divorce or a dark period or whatever he apologized for. And imagine if we had a series where all three of them were just Raiders, Last Crusade, Last Crusade. Well, I like how Temple of Doom stands out.
I do too. I think it's it's like a mixtape. But I think this one too, this went through all kinds of changes before it became what it is. And some of the earlier drafts just sounded terrible. And I think Chris Columbus was like involved. I don't know, but you're right. Like Steven Spielberg going through what he went through.
That makes sense because Chris Columbus was working for Amblin.
Yeah. But they're about to do another, which is mind blowing to me considering the backlash from Crystal Skull. I mean, obviously money, everybody wants money, but it's just considering, like going back to what you said about Temple of Doom, Steven Spielberg publicly apologized. When's someone going to publicly apologize for Crystal Skull? He's going to make another movie instead.
He has. And you know what? Let's go on a story here for a second, and you'll know this because I know you used to read like Ain't It Cool News back in the day. Do you remember when Crystal Skull was coming out? I remember they had Bruce Willis on Ain't It Cool News too.
Yeah, one time. Yeah.
And Spielberg, they had these questions, and Spielberg was writing into them, like giving them production updates on Crystal Skull. Mm-hmm. I'm not kidding you. This man personally said every damn time, we're going all natural, limited CGI, all this stuff. You watch the movie in the first minute, there's a CGI gopher.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have got a real gopher to make this shot, dude. You can't pretend like this is the 70s again, Spielberg.
I know.
And if you're going to go that route, don't sell me this lie, dickhead.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. And that just immediately made me hate it more. You know what I mean?
I've never even seen it.
Don't.
Never seen it.
But you know what's funny? The nuke the fridge scene, I actually like. Yeah. And that's something everybody complains. To me, that's the only scene in the movie to me that felt like Indiana Jones.
Maybe it's worth picking up the Steelbook.
And everyone's like, it's so ridiculous. He could survive a nuclear blast in a refrigerator. Have you seen the opening of Temple of Doom? Go try jumping out of a plane on a raft into a river, waterfall raft. Like, come on, dude. To me, that was classic Indiana Jones. It was outlandish, but it was tense. And it was like, oh, what do I do? Get in a refrigerator. Like, he was stuck. That was the only part of the movie.
You hated it.
Yeah. After that, it felt, and that is in the beginning of the movie. That's like the opening, adventure, shit that they do in these films. But,
well, these Steelbooks are the releases we needed. They are limited.
Yeah, dude, take a look again.
It's a shame.
Aren't these nice?
Unlike Godfather, you don't need this box set. It's a really, I mean, these really are super nice and slick and shiny. They
are.
feel like nice and heavy. I like that they're nearly black. You know, brown, dark brown, black.
I'm
Whatever.
actually interested because I think the black
awesome.
works better on Raiders and Temple. I'm wondering to see if the black, what it looks
Just
like.
that they all line up on your shelf. They look nice. It looks nice. I'm so impressed.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, not Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, they're classy. I really wish I had waited. I really do.
Thumbs up.
All right, Russ, let's talk about some Steelbooks. Shall we?
We shall.
So another completely shocking announcement is that The Godfather, those 4Ks that came out, a couple months ago, and I received my amazing edition that I love so very much and look at every day, kiss it goodnight. And shocking to no one, they are coming out in single editions now. They're coming out in regular ones, and they're coming out in Steelbooks. And these are coming out October 11th from Paramount. And it's the art that they've been using, basically the regular ones, the regular editions. It's the art that they've been using for all their restoration posters. But for these Steelbooks, they're using the oil painting art that was given to you as an extra in the Ultimate Mega Super Duper collection that I got.
The mall kiosk art.
The mall kiosk art is now the Steelbooks. So only Coda is getting the Steelbook, not Godfather 3. So you got Godfather 3 in 4K in the box set, but Coda is the only one that's getting the 4K single edition here. So yeah, I'm with you. I think it's really interesting that they use these oil paintings. I can't decide if I like it or don't like it. It's like, do I like those oil paintings or not, basically? And I have to wrap my own self out on this box set back here that I have.
I can refuse this offer.
Yeah, and they've got the little sayings on the back. I don't like the sayings on the back. That's why I like those Indiana Jones ones you showed. It's it's classy. There's nothing, there's no tchotchkes embedded into
classy. I don't want shit like this on the Godfather. I loved those old sets where it was just all black and the hands, the puppet, over the. Come on, that's all I need.
Yeah, they're all here, all these different Steelbooks, and ultimately, I wanted the trilogy, so I'm happy that I got the box set. Maybe not the one that I have exactly, but I'm glad that I got the box set. But these are out there. These are available for people to pick up. So, there you are. Till we meet again, Godfather. A couple years from now, something else is going to happen.
Rest in peace, James Caan.
Jimmy Caan. He did. He passed away while we were on break.
He did. He got shot at a railway station.
Rest in peace, Jimmy.
I heard that when they found James Caan, there was a record number of squibs on his body.
A record number of squibs, multiple squibs on each of his shoulders.
I just know when Godfather at the time, that was the record of squibs used for Sonny's death.
He's got a lot of shoulders to cover.
It was all on his shoulders.
It's all shoulder squibs.
Shoulder
squibs.
Aim for the shoulders. The only way to take them down.
Another exciting...
I don't know why I turned into Donald Pleasance there.
I don't either.
Let's get back to business.
Another exciting 4K Steelbook is Scream 2. So Scream 2 is coming out in a 4K Steelbook. They're getting a regular edition as well, but this is a Steelbook segment, so we're looking at that. It's coming out October 4th, again from Paramount. And it's, like I said, arriving in a regular edition. No news on features. Probably you can expect something similar to the first. It was minimal, plus the 4K restoration, which from what I recall was actually pretty good. I felt when we did our comparison, it looked pretty strong. So maybe
we did it for Scream 2?
For Scream 1.
Oh, okay.
So this is, maybe going to get a similar restoration, maybe with similar vibe change. I don't know. But yeah, maybe box set in the future at this point. Maybe for the first 3. What are they going to do? What's Paramount going to do next?
I don't know. Do that with the first 3. I don't know.
What do you think? You going to pick this up?
I didn't pick up the other Scream, the original Scream, but now that I know they were putting out Scream 2, I kind of do want just 1 and 2 because I don't like 3 at all, and the rest of them I don't care about.
They're not bad looking Steelbooks. I mean, the first one wasn't bad either, and I feel like their spine looks nice, and it'll probably look nice on your shelf, sitting pretty. I mean, it's got that silly scribblings on the back. I don't know, but
I don't know. I'll probably end up skipping it, honestly. But that's no reflection on the movie itself. Scream 2 is a very good sequel. So
okay.
I don't know. Scream 3 is atrocious.
Well, maybe we'll get that soon from Paramount. Looks like they're just going to keep sending these out one at a time until they put the box out. But another Steelbook coming out August 9th, again from Paramount, and its 25th anniversary is a movie I hear about all the time but have never actually seen, is Event Horizon. And apparently this is just like some trippy, wild thing with Larry Fishburne himself. This was actually released last year.
Larry.
This was released last year by Scream Factory in a collector's edition.
Yeah.
And this one's got 2 discs. It's got a restoration on disc 1. It's got a Blu-ray, the restoration on the Blu-ray. But it doesn't have anywhere near the features that the collector's edition has. So it's kind of like...
Really?
It has some, but the Scream Factory one has a ton. It's got one of these plastic slip-down covers that kind of changes what you're looking at.
Scream Factory's not putting this out?
No, this is Paramount.
Wow,
yeah.
That's weird.
That's what I mean.
I thought this, because, Scream Factory, that's all they do anymore is just re-release their catalog titles, basically.
Nope.
I thought that's what this was.
This is just Paramount Pictures, baby. They're putting it out. And that's why I said it has some of the features, but not even close to what the Scream Factory one had. So that's why I said it's like, which one are you happy with? Is this a big upgrade? Who knows? It comes with some tchotchkes. But yeah, it seems like a better deal maybe with Scream if you like the features. But I always heard this movie is like batshit crazy. I don't know. Am I wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
moving right along.
It's not batshit crazy.
Okay. I've heard wrong. What is it good? Have you seen it?
I've seen it.
And your thoughts? Are you picking this up?
Moving right along.
Moving right along. Here comes Paramount doing Catch Me If You Can in its 20th anniversary, and you guessed it, Russ, just a Blu-ray. So it's the old Good Burger routine. It's the old Wayne's World routine. We're getting
Paramount.
This is Paramount at its finest.
Paramount.
Paramount at its finest.
I will not be buying this, and I love this movie. I will wait for the 4K release next
Why
year.
no 4K? It's bullshit.
And the cover's stupid.
It's dumb. I've never seen this movie.
The cover looks dumb as hell. I hate that cover. Like what? What are they? Run DMC or something? Like what is this?
Look at Tom Hanks. It's like he's back in
It
Dragnet.
looks like they're back in Dragnet. Does look, just put Aykroyd next to him instead of DiCaprio, and that's Dragnet. The Dragnet Steelbook we've all been waiting on.
I know. I don't know. I think it's dumb. And
the movie's great though.
I've never seen.
In my opinion, that's the last great Spielberg like entertaining movie.
Okay.
Blockbuster type thing.
I'd be interested in seeing it. I'd be interested to go back in some of Leonardo DiCaprio's back catalog that maybe I haven't seen. I don't know. But another Paramount doing their same old bullshit.
Walken is incredible in it.
Is he? He's good too?
I think he won an Oscar for it. He was nominated for it, but yeah, he's great.
Walken.
He plays DiCaprio's dad.
Nice. In a crazy kind of way or is it like a sentimental kind of way? He can do a little both.
This movie, that's what's great about this movie. Dude, this movie's darker than your like not dark, but there's a lot of like issues, and it's good, man. It's really good.
So you're not going to pick this up?
I would if I was unaware of Paramount's plans to release this again in a year. I would pick it up, but I know what's going to come down the pipeline, and I'm waiting for 4K.
Agreed. Well, they keep on doing this shit because also in its 20th anniversary is The Ring. And it's most likely going to get jack shit, just like the rest of these. It's yet another anniversary release just on Blu. Why not 4K? Which, this probably, like you said, some of these are probably going to get 4K in the future. It's just they're wasting everyone's time. And even this, I'm a fan of this movie. When you look at this Steelbook with the sleeve on it, it's like a video cassette or whatever, which it's kind of cool. It's clever. I like it. It's got the Ring on it. There's a label that says The Ring, which is, I like that. But then when you take this off, this scribbly 7 days bullshit. What is this? Like a rom-com? Like it's just so stupid. This scribbling on here. Just like even the inside, I don't mind.
Yeah, why?
Why is
just
it
have the
image
screaming like it's the video in the movie? Just take that's dumb.
It's dumb. It's shitty looking. But again, it's Paramount and it's 20th anniversary. It's coming out in October. I don't have an actual date for this one, but a few other Steelbooks that I thought looked kind of cool. This one is a Best Buy exclusive for $310 to Yuma. This has already been out in 4K, but I really like this sort of.
That is awesome.
I don't know, like old time, like I don't know. This
dude,
this
it looks
art.
like the artwork and that lettering of the original movie. That looks like the font for the artwork of
it does.
310, like the old one.
Yeah, and also
that's cool. I like that.
Best Buy. It's actually got one of these. Sorry, it's actually got one of these slide cases that I feel like...
You know what's funny? When I said that earlier, when I was talking about it, Best Buy must be the ones that do that. Because my Evil Dead Steelbooks were Best Buy. They have that. The Total Recall Steelbook was Best Buy. It has that clear slip.
Yeah. And look at this one. It's kind of neat. It's like...
I picked up the Hell or High Water 4K Steelbook. It came with that clear slip.
Yeah. Like this one,
it's awesome.
The clear slip comes down and it's the train and the title. Without it, it's, Ben Foster and the rest of the gang down here. So this piece like slides over top in a plastic case. I think that looks really cool. Just in general, I think this art looks awesome.
I do too.
I already own this in 4K, but nothing new is coming with it. There's nothing new to...
I don't. I've only owned it on...
If you don't...
I think I only owned it on DVD. I might pick this up.
If you don't own it on 4K or you've never even seen this movie, blind buy this or just upgrade to 4K. It's really... it had a lot of features to begin with. Again, you're not getting anything new if you already own it, so that's why I'm a little sad.
Does it come with a commentary with Luke Wilson?
He is not in it, thank God. I don't need him to take me out of the movie again. But then another one, again, a Best Buy exclusive, is god awful. And this is another one of those like slide down plastic cases. They are going hard in the slide down plastic case. August 30th is a movie I actually like. This Warrior movie. I've never owned this in 4K, but you would think, first you would hope that this like weird, I don't know, brushstroke over everything is what the case is going to be. So then once you take it off, it's just maybe a picture of them two, and I could just throw the slipcase away. But that's like the actual art. It's some cartoony version of them, and then there's some like cage that comes down over top with their fists. It's creative, but I think it's bullshit. I wish it was the original art with the cage coming down over top. That would be awesome. But I don't know.
What does the cage signify?
They're in a cage match.
Oh, okay.
So whatever. Moving right along, Starship Troopers and its 25th anniversary is getting a 4K Steelbook, and it's coming out November the 1st from Sony. Steel only. You can't get no reg with this. Steel only. It already got 4K for its 20th anniversary. So this one's getting the exact same ass transfer and HDR upgrade and Atmos track and all that kind of stuff. The only thing new that you're getting here is that it's new Steelbook, which the art I kind of like, is a 25th anniversary reunion that's like done basically through Zoom. And it's got everybody on it. Casper Van Dien, Denise Richards, Dina Meyer, Clancy Brown, Michael Ironside, Jake Busey, Patrick Muldoon, and Seth Gilliam. They're all back doing some conversation about this movie.
That's cool.
So, if you like Steelbooks and you like this art and you've never owned this on 4K, this is pretty solid.
I don't like the art.
No?
It reminds me of like Masters of the Universe.
This blue and yellow motif with the skulls under here. I don't know. I don't mind it. This movie was cool.
Again, if you didn't tell me the title and you showed me that picture, I don't think I would guess Starship Troopers.
Is this a pickup for you? Do you own Starship Troopers in 4K?
I don't own Starship Troopers at all. Now that I think about it.
What do you think? Is it worth a pickup?
It's a good movie. I enjoy Starship Troopers. There's other American Verhoeven films I'd put above it.
So it's not worth your time or money?
They lost me on the artwork. Honestly, I think if I liked the artwork, I probably would pick it up. But
okay.
And this movie, it's a cult title, and I think over the years it keeps growing. I'll hold out for another release. I could see this getting a really nice international 4K release.
You're right. It's dog shit. Let's move on. Probably one of the best steals on this list, though, in content and just stature, in my opinion, is Fright Night, which I know, Russ, you've been dying to talk about.
I've already pre-ordered this.
Already pre-ordered it. This is coming out October 4th from Sony. And like I said, I feel like this is probably the best steal that we're covering. It's a 3-disc steelbook only option, and it is packed with stuff, like super packed. New 4K restoration from the original camera negative right out the gate, Dolby Vision, HDR, all that stuff, plus a new Atmos track if you're into that sort of thing. That's on disc 1, which is the 4K. Then on 2 is that same transfer on Blu-ray, plus new deleted scene storyboards and a new spec trailer with Tom Holland on there talking, doing his little thing. But then there's commentaries from before, other features and so forth.
And can I tell you something right off the bat that's not saying? That You're So Cool, Brewster documentary is 3 hours long, if that's the entire documentary. The previous Eureka release of Fright Night, which I own, it had the same thing. It listed You're So Cool Brewster on it, and I can't complain. It was an edited version. It was only like an hour and a half to 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So that little, just right there, You're So Cool Brewster at least is an hour and a half documentary. If it's the full one, it's a damn near 3-hour documentary on Fright Night.
Yeah.
And it's good. I watched it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
that's just one feature.
That's just one feature on one disc.
Yeah.
I mean, so disc 1 is the 4K. Disc 2 is these new couple of, new couple of features plus those great ones that you already mentioned. And then on the third disc, it's just a blue with special features only. It's got a ton of legacy stuff, but it also has 4 new ones, which is a 35th anniversary script read plus reunion, an interview with Amanda Bierce. She came back. Russ. And then creation of the Fright Night novelization.
There's this and Married with Children. That's it. What else is she doing?
And then she's got better things to do. And then some SFX storyboard comparison, which, I'm sure is pretty cool also.
I'm interested about this queer subtext. I never picked that up in Fright. Well, I guess, what are they going to go into, like the flirtatious nature of Chris Sarandon? Or
maybe. I mean,
I feel like you can do that with all vampire stuff.
It's all very elegant and very. It's like look at Tom Cruise in Interview with the Vampire. They're all very.
Fright Night's not that. It's not that.
But I mean the way of the vampire. They're all just very
fluid.
Right. They're very elegant. I think they want to seduce everyone.
Yeah. And I know Amanda Bierce is gay, and I'm wondering like what. I mean, her character isn't gay in the movie. She's the
girlfriend.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, all 3 of these discs super packed with stuff, and then the steelbook itself. This is some of the best art in the horror genre. I feel like, hands down. I mean, just this.
It stands out. You remember this when being a kid.
I've never forgotten it. I will never forget this drawing of this vampire, which is the transformation sort of the vampire at the end. And I feel like it's just so.
I didn't know you were a fan of this movie.
Super effective. I mean, this house, this scary face. Look at this face. Like this is freaking memorable, especially like you said, as a kid, you see this thing. And like this is only one scene in the movie. In general, it's not this 24/7, but it's still effective as fuck. Like I don't know. I've always just really loved this art.
I didn't know you were a fan of this movie.
I think this movie's cool.
I didn't know you've seen it. We've never talked about this outside.
My memory's foggy because it is again in the time when I was a kid to see this and like this art and want to rent this movie or see it on TV or whatever it might be. But I don't know that my memory's as clear. But I do remember liking it. I do remember it's fun.
Monster Squad. Think
it's fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
And again, I just like the logo, like everything about this, the design of this, I just think is great. I think it looks awesome on a steelbook.
It is great art.
Yeah. So 10/4, that's when you're picking that up, Russ, October 4th.
And that's when they'll ship it to me.
That's when they'll ship it.
You know, it's funny. I didn't even look at the features. I just 4K Fright Night, steelbook, boom.
Yeah.
Ordered.
Well, that is one of the best on the list. Now let's talk about some of the worst on the list. And that's coming from your friends at Zavvi. They pissed me off these last 2 weeks. There's a few things that we're just going to breeze through, but I just got to air a little bit of grievance. This isn't really pissing me off as much as it's just stupid, and it's something that I feel like it makes sense that Zavvi would be putting this out. And this is the Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman now. The Batman Batarang Edition Collector's Box Set, the double steelbook box. So this is out September 19th from Zavvi, previously from Walmart. So Walmart put this out in the U.S., and this is a release that only Zavvi and Walmart would put out. It contains 2 steelbooks of the film with identical discs in both. So you're just getting 2 versions of this movie with different art, that's it. And it's stuck into this box, and it gives you this sort of metal plate that's a picture of Batman's chest with the Batarang, I guess, is there. It doesn't come off, and a stand to put it on. So it's like art. So, yeah, why? Like, what is this?
Being an Evil Dead fan isn't too bad now.
I mean, why would you buy? I think they're going after that. Aren't there those like group buys and different things where there's like collectors sort of slipcases and things that are made by certain companies like who am I thinking
Everything
of?
Blue?
Like Manta Lab and some of these other like groups and kind of like an Everything Blue, and people like go in on it, they put all their money into it, then they see what it's going to be, and then they just get this stuff shipped. And it's just, that's what they collect. I feel like sometimes it's in a case that looks like this. So I feel like it's like a play off of that in a way, trying to get to that fan base. But I don't know. I just thought this was dumb. But then here's the next thing that I feel like we've talked about before, but I just feel like it's getting so blatant. And it's...
Hey, that's what I own.
Right. These are 4K limited edition steelbooks that are being reprinted by Zavi. And not only are they being reprinted, but look at the title.
Exclusive reprint.
Dude, like, are you kidding me, Zavi?
That's
Exclusive
an oxymoron.
reprint?
That's an oxymoron if I've ever heard one.
What the fuck does that mean?
Reprint pretty much means it's not exclusive.
It means it's now trash. It means like I can get it whenever I want. It's not worth anything. Like exclusive reprint.
But look, it doesn't come with that clear slip that I got from my Best Buy edition.
It doesn't. But I mean, that's just a slap in the face. And look at this one, Terminator 2 reprint. Right in the title. And putting it in the title, not to mention it's in lowercase, I feel like it's just, am I supposed to be excited by that as as a consumer? Yes. Am I supposed to open this? Oh my God, it's a fucking reprint. Yeah. What? I mean, especially as a collector, what am I to be excited by? I'm buying the reprint? Nice. Look, 3 stars, 12 reviews. I mean, it just defeats the purpose of anything limited. It's and like you've said before, it's false advertising, as you've said before. How do I see the 1-star reviews? Let's see. Gorgeous steelbook. The title on the spine is upside down. How could you let this happen? I should return mine. Awesome.
Verified purchase.
Easy money for Zavi. I must say, for a 30-year anniversary of such a masterpiece of film, the packaging and content is pretty depressing. Wow.
Talk to the hand.
New skin, same features. It's for real. So anyway, Zavi doing their same shit. But now... They also have these as well, but here in the U.S., you're getting limited edition reprints, Russ. Limited edition reprints. This was a limited edition steelbook for Last Action Hero, and all these are coming out September, by the way, September 27th. And now
are they marked on the case?
I think it's just advertising it that way, and that's what I'm saying. Am I supposed to be excited now? Like, oh, great, it's coming back out again, but why even put that on there? Don't even tell me it's a reprint. Maybe I'd forget it was limited. Just don't throw that in my face. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it's dumb.
I agree.
It's dumb. And then they're doing it with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, limited edition reprint. They're doing it with Gattaca, everyone's favorite, limited edition reprint. It's like, why?
Why are you shitting on Gattaca?
I mean, it's that it warrants a limited edition reprint. Like, all these things are being reprinted, even Gattaca. I mean, let Gattaca go.
Gattaca has a lot of fans. You'd be surprised, man.
Well, I just think that's a pretty stupid trend. It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, I'm with you on
that they would even do such a thing. So,
but
again,
Gattaca is worthy of this stupid trend.
Limited edition reprint. You gonna pick it up? I already pre-ordered mine.
I'm gonna wait for my limited edition reprint. Actually, no. You know what? I am gonna pick this up. Then I'm gonna sell my limited edition reprint on the black market and then use that to fund my limited edition reprint that I'm going to pick up of, what were we talking? Gattaca.
Well, if you had the opportunity to pick up Heat on a steelbook now, you won't have to get it on the reprint or the reprint. And that is the last steelbook I wanted to talk about, and it comes out August 9th from Disney. You get a regular edition too. It's got that traditional, I guess, art, you could call it. It kind of reminds me exactly of the Unbreakable release where it has that little Ultimate Collector's Edition label at the bottom. But the Steelbook edition, I don't know if it's much better. It's kind of cold and steel, and I like that, but it's like Robert De Niro looking out the window. It's kind of boring. I don't know. But Heat in general, let's talk about Heat. So it was directed by Michael Mann, who at the time was only known for Thief, which, rest in peace again to Jimmy Caan. I watched that over the break. Badass movie. Also Manhunter. He was known for at the time. And then Last of the Mohicans. I have no idea how I forgot, or even knew maybe, that he did Last of the Mohicans.
I've never seen it, but I know he made it.
I had no idea. So,
well, you're at Miami Vice.
Later on, yeah. But at this point...
No, the show.
Oh, the show. Yeah, of course. I thought you meant the movie. Everyone's favorite.
No, it's Gattaca. Are we skipping something? He did nothing in between Manhunter, Thief, and Last of the Mohicans.
I mean, there might be something else in there too. Those are the ones that I feel like were the bigger names. Maybe there's something else. Do you want me to take a look and see? Let's see what he did. No. Let's see what he's got going on here.
I would hate if you did that.
Michael Mann. His filmography. He did Thief. He did The Keep. Manhunter.
Keep.
Last of the Mohicans.
Oh, wow. So there was like a big...
And then Heat.
Yeah, okay.
And then, he was doing some Miami Vice in there too. But so anyway, he after he made Thief in 1981, he had already. Oh wait, let me back up. He wrote this. He wrote this film, or he wrote the script for this movie in 1979, and he tried to make
a TV movie.
Yeah, yep, and it was based on a real story, like a real criminal, a real like detective that was after him or whatever. And so he kind of wrote this thing. He goes on, he makes Thief in 1981, and then after that, he tries to get it made, and he turns it into a television movie, like you said. It was called L.A. Takedown. Sound right?
Maybe. I don't remember the title. I just remember that fact that he did it first as a TV movie.
And that came out in 89. So he does Thief in 81. He puts this show out in 89, which is based on something he wrote like 10 years prior. But then it wasn't picked up. And then he just revisited the script and he decided like this was a movie I'm going to make in 1994. And I remember when this movie came out, one of the biggest things that was hyped was that Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are in a movie together in actual scenes. They will be talking to one another, which actually they don't even share that much screen time. It turns out. I mean, you've watched this movie recently, and I've seen it not that long ago.
No, but that's what made it special.
It was just poignant,
one
little
sit
droplets.
down, and there's no action, and it's nice because it's right in the middle of the movie. It's beautiful because they both just sit down, and we're looking at it as two actors, but even within the film itself, these are two men who have the same issues in their lives. They're just on complete opposite ends, but they're dealing with the same. They can't commit to anything in life. They're alone. They're loners, you know? And the beauty, and it's nice. They both get to sit there and kind of acknowledge each other without any pressure. And it's, as actors, we get to see these two greats go again with no pressure of really selling anything. It's just, how are you guys going to bounce off each other?
Yeah.
And it's awesome to watch.
And what's crazy too is, like you said, two greats, they showed up having done no rehearsals for that scene at all because they wanted to feel like strangers as they were in the movie. They didn't want they wanted it to come out naturally, and that's how they
they knew each other in
life. That scene. No, but I mean in the movie, like they didn't know each other. Like they had never met. They were strangers basically. So they're sitting down for the first time. So rather than rehearse this scene over and over, they were like, let's just go cold and just do the scene for the very first time, like it would maybe feel if we met for the first time. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, especially because that scene is something, like you said, people go back to.
There's a flip side to that coin. I know I could like quote that scene. It's weird. Heat's one of those movies I never thought I watched it that much, but as you said, when I watched it recently, certain moments I found myself like saying the next line of dialogue before they said. I was like, damn, I guess I did really like this a lot. It's just been a long time. Yeah, dude, it's still a great movie. I'm gonna say this.
What makes it great? Tell me, Russ.
I'm going to tell you right now, the same thing that probably made Top Gun Maverick great. It doesn't talk down to the audience at all. It's intelligent without being an A24 puzzle piece movie. Mm-hmm. Women, men, all demographics can like this movie. It's not an over-the-top action Schwarzenegger type bullshit thing. There's real dilemmas with real characters. It's an adult film. We need more Heats in this world. Mm-hmm. I realized that watching recently. Like we used to take movies like this for granted, and now it's like, God, I wish every theater had at least one or two movies with this level of maturity. And it's not even that. I mean, there are parts in this movie that are ridiculous and funny, but I mean, that's all it is. I'm watching two great actors. The script is intelligent, but it's not like it's not Christopher Nolan. It's not trying to wow you and trick you and all that stuff. It just respects you, and you're on this journey. And we're going to get in the mindset of two men who are destined to be loners. That their careers, their professions, or who they are, and they have to sacrifice everything in life just to do what they were put on earth to do.
And they do it super well, both of these actors, and I think that's one of the things that makes it great to me is the cast. I mean,
this cast is incredible.
Al Pacino, we talked earlier, but you could say this over and over. He's just firing off on all cylinders in this movie. And in 2016, in an interview, which I never even knew, and who did know, yes, that he viewed this character as being under the influence of cocaine the whole time. And I don't know if there was like a plot point that states that and it was just taken out, or he just viewed the character that way and was like, I'm going to play this guy like he's fucking high on coke in every scene.
What are you, a fucking owl?
Dude, it's awesome. I mean, and even like, I think you said too, sometimes he's saying these things and people in the background, they even look confused. That great ass line is improvised. And you can tell in that scene that Hank Azaria is legitimately like terrified.
Well, like the one when he's sitting down at like that bench in the beginning and talking to the one guy, the dude who brings him to Tone Loc. And like Pacino's saying things and it's showing the actor reacting. I'm watching it the other day and I'm like, that actor seems like this is improvised. Like, I don't think he's ready for some of this shit Pacino's saying because he's kind of has like a smirk on his face, but that character would have been like that too because he's getting finessed by a cop.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it is. It's fun, man. No, it's cool as hell.
It is. No, and so he's great. Robert De Niro, he's great as well. I mean, he's doing his Robert De Niro thing.
He's great. I mean, exactly. He's doing his silent De Niro thing. Yeah. But that's what this character calls
top
for.
Form. Yeah, top form.
And actually, one thing I love about this movie and De Niro's character is it could have been one note, he's just silent, but I like the love interest. I actually like the love interest story with him in this. And typically, I don't think that would work in many movies, but I even like, do you remember how they met in this movie? His girl?
No.
Where like he's at a cafe and she just says something nice to him and he looks over at her. He's like, lady, why do you care about something? Like she's just mean as shit.
Yeah.
And then she kind of starts to cry and he's like, all right, I'm sorry. My line over. I don't know. Like, let me talk to you. But he kind of falls for it because she's really the opposite of him. You know what I mean? But it's not overdone where he's going to learn this lesson and she's going to save him and all that shit. It's just like it shows you this man has a heart.
Yeah.
It's just he's in his line of work. You can't change that.
He is. And like you said, this movie is an adult film. We gripe about the length of the movie, but that's the thing. This movie takes its time. Like it takes its time to develop these relationships. It takes its time to go through all these like action scenes. It's like, it's not like getting rid of one for the other. It's giving you both full throttle. And I think that's why the shit comes in at near 3 hours.
Well, I don't think it takes its time. It's pretty...
I mean, it takes its time to tell you a full story. Other movies would cut out a lot of that,
definitely.
Familial whatever.
When people say,
action.
Maybe I just misinterpreted you. When people say things like that, typically it involves like it's boring and talky. And I'm like, no, it's not that at all.
It takes its time to get through these story elements, and it doesn't get rid of one for the other.
You know what one of my favorite scenes in this movie is, and it was even back then when I was younger. I think it's so brilliant. And when I watched the other day, I had a smile on my face too. It was the scene where after they realize that the cops are onto them when they stop the one heist and they lead them on, they take them into like where the freeway exits are here and here, and they're like pointing and talking and all that shit. And Al Pacino's watching him and he comes down and like, what were they looking at? Pacino's like, oh, they're looking at us, And he's like, we've been had, boys. Like they're figuring out, they know it, and like De Niro's at the top looking to see who. It's just clever, man. It's so clever, dude. And I'll tell you this: no Heat, no Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, I mean,
there are even rewatching it, dude. Oh my God, I forgot how much this influenced The Dark Knight.
I think it's influenced a lot of things probably, but definitely that is a notable one.
Dude, I'm talking like shots. The beginning of The Dark Knight, that there are scenes in this movie that look exactly, you could have just dropped them in The Dark Knight and it would have fit in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's great. My one gripe.
Can I give one more positive before you give the gripe? My one other positive is I feel like this movie is, because I've got gripes too, but the one other thing that I like about this movie, and I would say the exact same thing for Thief, is that they both feel very authentic to what it is that they're doing. Like I feel like the way that these bank robberies are conducted, the way that the robberies in Thief,
it doesn't feel Hollywood.
It feels like some real like criminals were, talked to about this stuff to figure out how this would really go down. And I think even Val Kilmer, might have said something like, him reloading a clip and some gun he's firing is like shown to Marines on how to actually do it or something.
Val Kilmer looks badass in that scene.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a movie with Pacino, De Niro, and all that. Yeah. I'd argue Val Kilmer in that shootout scene, he's the one going off.
Yeah.
It's
we didn't even mention this. When we were talking about the cast, we didn't even mention the supporting cast. Obviously, Val Kilmer, Ashley Judd.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves was supposed to be the Val Kilmer character, but he went off and he played like Hamlet instead. So they got Kilmer.
God, I'm so glad.
I know, but you're right. No
offense to Keanu Reeves.
I felt it was very authentic in that regard, and I thought that was really the attention to detail is something I really like. So, what is something that you do not like? Because I have a couple of gripes too.
Great cast, great actress in her own right. Take Natalie Portman out of this fucking movie.
That is literally what I was also going to say.
adds nothing.
It kills me. I much would rather Al Pacino not even have a family element, not even the girlfriend, really. Like, that's fine.
You need that. Because you need to see that his life is in disarray as well, and that he lost two marriages, that chaotic. He's just like De Niro. That's the point. But we already had this. You come home and the dude's watching your TV. That's all I needed was you had a girlfriend and she got with another dude because you weren't present.
That's it.
I don't need all this Natalie Portman stuff.
I need him to be crazy the whole time. But I mean, it's true. I agree with you. That totally.
Take it out.
I hate it. All the suicide stuff. Yep. It's like 40 minutes of the movie.
Take it all out. This changes nothing about the core movie.
It doesn't.
And I know it kills me. And I thought that back in the day, and then when I was watching it the other day to kind of prepare for us talking, I was like, dude, this is stupid. And no disrespect to Natalie Portman. Nope. She's incredible, especially for how young she is. We all saw her in The Professional a year before.
Yep.
Like, she's amazing. But it adds nothing here.
I agree.
Nothing.
It should be excised. It should be removed, definitely.
Yeah, other gripes? I have one other major gripe, and that's only my two gripes with this movie, honestly.
It's not even really a gripe. I feel like my main gripe, it becomes the runtime as a result of what we just said. Yes. Because I feel like this movie is super great and it's entertaining, but how many times can I watch this in my lifetime? I mean, it's just one of those movies you watch every however many years. But if this was 2 hours, an hour and 50 or something, or if that whole story was gone and it was just a solid 2, like, it would be on the rotation so much more.
Even if it was 220 and you just got rid of the Natalie Portman stuff,
you'd be fine. But it's just there and it kind of stinks. So that does rub me the wrong way. The other thing is, and I wouldn't say this is a gripe, as much as I just feel like I don't know how I feel about it, but maybe I don't know, and I don't know why exactly. But just the ending itself,
dude,
like. The ending itself, like
that's my other gripe. I hate the ending. I hate the ending. I've always hated the ending of this movie.
The showdown, they're going to have one.
Dude, it's not even done well.
It's not. And that's the thing. It's poor. It's poorly done.
It's not even done well, dude. What the fuck? At one point, De Niro is running in full sight. He's at an airport. And he's running across a runway. Like, Pacino, just stop running after him, point your gun, and take the shot.
Yeah,
it's like ridiculous. And this is this smart man, and he just keeps running in plain sight at the end of this stuff. Like, and you're right. It's very anticlimactic. Once they get together again,
I know.
It felt like they got that far and they didn't know how to wrap it up.
They didn't know how to wrap it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. And I felt like that when I was a kid watching it.
I did too.
I was just like, dude, this doesn't feel, everything else in this movie is so epic. And that was the conclusion?
It is. It's very, it's
honestly
deflating.
Even De Niro going back to kill the guy, it was
like very frustrating.
That's a stretch.
It was very frustrating.
Even that's a stretch by his logic in the movie.
The whole movie, his logic.
But I get it's a movie and I forgive it because I was like, all right.
He needs his revenge. He's got to get the guy.
I get it. For a movie. In real life, he'd have been gone. He wouldn't have
Save his ass his whole life. So he's going to go mess around with weight growth.
He's all about damage control and risk factors. Even when he's talking to Val Kilmer, he's like, you got to fix your shit because you're going to ruin us all. He didn't want to do the heist. Yeah. The whole crew was sitting there saying, nah, I'm in. He's like, nah, there's too much heat. But now you're going to risk it all at the end. You're good.
I know.
You can leave with your woman.
You're gone.
But you got to go kill this guy. But like I said, it doesn't bother me that much because it's a movie. And I'm like, all right, we need an ending.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go that route, Pacino's got to do more. You got to do something here.
I know, and that's the thing.
It's so weird.
I think as a kid, I felt weird about it, and I wasn't sure if it was a thing where I felt like, oh, I don't know who I wish would have died in this scenario because they're going to have a showdown, and it was
De Niro has to die. But I mean,
and that's it, I guess. But now looking
just
back
based on all the
more,
fucking people who got killed in that shootout,
no, right?
It's bank robbery.
Like you said, it's like how many times can you shoot at people to make? It's so anticlimactic because a lot of it's just them shooting at each other over hay bales or like whatever they're doing in that ending there.
I'm telling you, it's not even that. They are like running in open fields,
and you could just
like
shoot.
Stop running and aim.
I know.
And you guys are like, what? At this point, you both are in your fucking 60s. Like, it shouldn't be that hard, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. That does so. Those are the two main things that bother me. It's such a great movie. It is anticlimactic,
and those two things don't ruin it.
No,
don't ruin it at all. But
it's a great Al
just
Pacino movie.
Fuck, I feel like you were so close to a masterpiece.
True.
I feel like you were so close to a masterpiece, and these little tweaks just pulled it back.
Well, Michael Mann's coming back to Heat.
Yeah,
He is.
I
He's
read
coming back
that.
to Heat. So after this movie, he did Ali, he did Collateral, Miami Vice the movie, and now he's coming back to Heat again. So he's writing some prequel novel that I guess does a little bit before the events of Heat and a little bit of the events after Heat. And he's going to make, which comes out actually August 9th, apparently. But he wants to make a movie of that.
There's already talks. He already confirmed that it's happening.
Happening.
I don't think he's going to direct it because he was already making statements saying like, well, I can't get De Niro. They're too old. It sucks.
Will
I wish
Kilmer
I
come
could."
back? Like he
I
did
think
in
he said
Maverick?
that about Kilmer also. Like, well, no, it's a prequel. They all got to look younger than what they looked in
But it's
1995.
But also a little bit after, it says. It's a little bit of both.
I don't know. I read the line he said, his quote, and he was like, I can't do De Niro. We're looking for casts because
Yeah.
I can't use them. Because the joke after it in the article I read was, well, you can always do The Irishman. That worked out well.
De-age them all. I don't know. I mean, in general, this movie, you don't need a sequel. It's a solid film in this genre. It's entertaining. It's a little bit long. Anytime you give Al Pacino a role like this, it's like you're going to have a great time. Like, I mean, come on. Like, look at him there. He looks like old
True.
Scarface with the machine gun
I never
head and
even
everything.
thought, you know that. Why'd you say that? That's exactly why that artwork is like that. That looks like he's cocky. Say hello to my little
Yeah,
friend.
it's like aged
oh
Scarface.
my God. I never, you just ruined this. I'm not picking this up now.
Well, I'm gonna probably get the Steelbook, even though I think the art's dumb. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's
same.
a little cold. It's a little steel, but it's not horrible.
Well,
I don't know if there's another.
I'll tell you one element of this film that wipes away any gripe anyone can have with it, and that is John Voight's magnificent mullet.
His mullet
That
is
thing. The only comparable mullet I've ever seen is in Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. Him and Cliff Robertson, they went to the same damn barber. You see that shit? Like, hey, dye that shit gray and make me look fucking stupid.
mullet of the year.
Make sure it matches my goofy mustache.
So, Russ, another week, another round of recommendations,
Yes, sir.
another wave of everyone's favorite segment. Matt and Russ recommend the hits.
The hits.
Is that what we ended up with? I can't remember now. But yeah, so we're back with another round of our famous recommendations this week. Russ has got a classic in his hand,
Oh, I do.
and I actually have a pair of, dare I say, classics in my hand. I know it's a little out of the norm.
You certainly have a pair, Matt.
Thank you. A little out of the usual for me to have two, but I have a initial entry and then the sequel that goes with it, and I feel like it's a perfect pairing that I couldn't leave the sequel out of this recommendation, so I brought it along with.
I'll allow it.
Okay. I hope the people at home will allow it too. So, so the movies that I'm recommending this week, Russ, do you mind if I go first?
Please. I believe I've seen yours, and I
You
don't think you've seen mine. So go
You
first.
have. So these ones I feel like maybe have a little bit more cachet, if you will, than maybe most of the other movies that I've recommended at this point. I think these ones maybe have been heard of for sure, and maybe even watched by our demographic at home.
Yeah, I'd say that.
You think?
Over Hands on
Yeah.
a Hard Body,
Oh,
probably.
yeah, and
yes.
over Untamed, and even The Informant, maybe. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
But the movie this week that I'm going to recommend is a movie called The Raid. And when it got released in the U.S. and on Blu-ray, it became The Raid Redemption, which I think is totally lame.
I didn't
but
know that. So it was originally just The Raid.
It's just The Raid.
I didn't know that
Yep.
title change. Wow.
Just The Raid. And then, of course, the follow-up sequel, The Raid 2. I'm maybe going to say a bold statement, and maybe I am... I don't want to say uneducated in the action genre or like the martial arts genre, but my experience isn't that wide. But I would say, in my opinion, for only knowing these movies here, these are two of probably the best action movies that I've ever seen, as far as execution, as far as what they were able to do with the budget, as far as fight choreography and stunts and camera work. Some of the shots and different things that you're seeing are like, how did they pull some of those things off? And I want to talk about the second one too, but the first one itself was pretty much done on like a shoestring budget, essentially. It wasn't really it's not, like a big budget movie. It's a very simple, small concept. It's a SWAT team that's going in to get some major drug lord. He lives at the top of some, high-rise building. once they enter, they're trying to be very slick and, precise, and they're trying to get this guy in and out, but he figures out that they're there, and he tells all the tenants there if they are to kill all these SWAT team members for him, they can live in this place rent-free and not have to worry about the police, because everybody that lives there is also basically a criminal doing something illegal, except for a few. There is a family that they interact with that is, part of the building too. So it's not everyone's a criminal, but a lot of them are. But that's pretty much the setup, and I won't really go too much further, but it is an Indonesian movie. The fight style is called Silat or something strange, but imagine that NES game Kung Fu, where you're just like walking along and you're just like kicking dudes off like the bridge until you keep going up steps to like get to the boss. It's like that.
Mm-hmm. I would also describe it as Die Hard on steroids.
It's also, that.
That was my thought after watching it.
Yeah. And I think this first one is so cool, not only because, the budget's low and like I mentioned, it's got some really great fight choreography and the simple concept and stuff, but it's contained in a building the entire time. Like the whole movie is in this building, and it seems like that could get old fast, but they are very creative with the visuals and the way they use the space. And I think this is, like I said, for a first movie for this guy to put, it's actually his second movie. Sorry. I just feel like it was done in a very creative way. Like, again, it's really hard to explain unless you see some of the fighting that goes on or some of the camera work that's done.
It's beautiful. You showed me this movie, and I agree with you 110%. The action choreography, it's incredible. It's like watching dance or something.
It is.
It is very, and whoever's doing it, was it Donnie Yen? Is that his name?
No. These are, and that's the other thing, dude. That's what's so cool is the people that are in this are complete unknown, like anyone.
What is the main guy's name?
His name's Iko Uwais. And or I don't even know if I'm saying that right. No, it's not even a main, there's no stars. This is just like a dude that came out of the blue. I don't know. Well, he's great too. But this guy in this movie, he went on to do the sequel, but then he has actually gone on to do a lot of other movies and other fight choreography for other films. Like he has now been recognized as a talent. Like this guy that's like the main star of this film. The dude's incredible. Like,
so he's like Michael Jai White.
The Michael Jai White of the Indonesian Silat films.
That's high praise.
High praise. In a way, like I never really put this together, but I do feel like there's like, I feel like I don't even want to say this out loud because then it maybe taints it, but like a Jackie Chan sort of element to like some of like dudes are like kicking off of walls and stuff. There's like a lot of like acrobatic things that are going on. Meanwhile, the cameras are like swooping over and like are going through people's legs, and
I'd say Jackie Chan just minus the comedic element.
Yes, because it's very gory.
Because even in serious Jackie Chan movies, like it's still very over the top. Yeah. I hear what you're saying. It's over the top, but still feels brutal.
Yes.
Feels very like when a kick or punch lands or whatever, it hurts.
And it's fast.
It's not all done to be just complete, spectacle.
Yeah.
Which is cool too. I'm not making fun of Jackie Chan.
No. And all these dudes are doing their own stunts. Every single person's taking those hits. They're getting thrown through walls. That like all these things are happening to these people. So you can tell there's like talent there. And again, for a very simple, basic sort of film idea, it is just an incredible, thrilling ride. Like it takes you and it never lets go from the first like 5 minutes. The movie starts almost immediately. Like they just give you a little bit of an intro and then boom, it starts. And it just like, I don't know, it just doesn't let go. So if you like anything martial arts related, anything, I don't know, just like action related, and if you're okay with, foreign film, it's an incredible movie.
And I will adding on to that, you said martial arts, and I think I speak for the both of us, maybe not, but myself, I don't consider myself very knowledgeable on the martial arts genre.
Not really.
It's not a genre I seek out. So my endorsement of this movie, I feel like carries even more weight because, as you said, to me, it feels, it definitely has the martial arts component in it, but it feels just like a great action movie.
It's awesome.
It just feels like a great action movie. It doesn't like, I wouldn't call it a martial arts film, would you? It has the components, definitely.
The main way of like they're not using guns. Let's put it that way. And that's the other that I think is very interesting about this movie is, this initial SWAT team, they had some, but then they lose it all. So the whole rest of the movie, it's all hand-to-hand fighting. There's knives, there's like a machete, but in that way, that you're right. Like in a Die Hard, everyone's got a gun. Everyone's trying to kill someone. Like these dudes are just trying to beat each other to death, or at least knock them out. Whatever it is, get them out of the way by just brutally fighting them until they're in submission. So I think there's that element too.
Now tell them about the Raid 2, because wow, did they switch gears on that one.
Well, what I was going to say next, yes, is if there was one other, if you could call this martial arts or action movie that I've ever seen that matches the Raid, it's the Raid 2. And I do have a criticism of the Raid 2, but if everything I just said about Raid 1 is even intriguing at all, or you have seen that, but you haven't seen the Raid 2, imagine what these, really creative individuals that made this movie who now have a budget are going to do, and they do not disappoint at all. Like, everything is times 10 larger, from the shots, the cinematography, the fight scenes, the choreography, the locations. Again, the Raid 1, the story, there's a story in this one. Exactly. Like Raid 1
many stories. It's like interweaving. Yes. This is an epic.
It is. It's an epic.
It's funny you said the Raid is very self-contained in one building.
Yes.
The Raid 2.
It's called Barandal or something. Yeah. It's just the Raid 2.
Jesus, it's an epic.
It is an epic. It's an hour longer, essentially.
Yeah.
Like the Raid 1 is about an hour and 40. This one's nearly 2.5 hours long, because of just, if you take the Raid and then you just give it a story, like that's literally what they've done. But the way that they've added new characters that are also have a lot of different personality. It's not just, hey, 5 SWAT guys that are fighting and here's their leader. It's like, now there's a little bit of style. There's like some other interesting fighters that are like entering the arena with, they've got a weird throwing stars, an interesting baseball bat, and they're like, it's like a video game kind of. Like if you imagine Double Dragon or something, the first one.
If they made the Raid into a video game, that would be incredible.
Like there's always like a GTA style. There's like a mid-level boss, an ending level boss. There's just like all these different characters, and it's very colorful and fresh feeling. Yeah. But I've never seen action set pieces like this in any other movie. Just how they are doing certain things. And there's behind the scenes featurettes on these DVDs that show some of the camera work and how they're able to pull off some of these insane things that they're doing while capturing the fighting real time, like one take. They're like passing cameras through cars, through car windows, into other people that are holding on to like pass it over to another car while they're all like strapped on for dear life. Like and they have to get it right in this one shot. It's like just crazy what they went through to put, and you can tell. It's so good.
I just thought about it. Do you think this film or both of these films had any influence on John Wick?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. There is a little bit of that feeling.
Of style. Yeah. I kind of feel like John Wick has, and this was prior.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if this was an influence on anyone who was behind the scenes on John Wick.
It's definitely been paid attention to.
And that's a pretty good, I feel like that's a good recommendation of sorts. Like if you dug John Wick, check this out. This is not only in the same lane, but it's again, you're getting John Wick times 10.
Yeah, and if you can't tell already how passionate I am about both of these movies,
and you showed them to me. I don't even think I was aware of them before you showed them. to me.
I think you watched the first Raid on your own, and then we watched Raid 2 at movie night. Because that's when I.
You showed both of them.
I did show both of them. Did you hadn't seen the first Raid before movie night?
No, I did. Oh no! I never had.
Oh, so it was just straight through movie night.
I saw both of these through you. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And I guess the last thing, again, I talked about the action plenty, but I guess the last thing I'll say is there's like, it feels like a video game, and that there's all these different like bosses and so forth that these guys end up going through eventually. It's not set up that way, but just imagine like that's kind of the way it feels. The last guy that's like the final fight, essentially, this is a fight scene that's almost like 10 minutes long, 13 minutes long. It's like such a long amount of time, and it's not one take, but it's so incredibly done. So incredibly, it's bloody. But it's so awesome to watch. It's like, wow, that is such a great fight scene.
How does it compare to the fight scene in They Live?
Well, see, there's that is a whole other fight scene. It's not that long, and it's not meant for like a laugh. It's like, how much longer can these two men go? How much longer can this fight scene go and still be interesting and entertaining? And
Are you suggesting Keith David can't go the distance?
Maybe he can.
He can.
So, yeah, like you said, the Raid 2, I think the only downfall to it is that the plot can be a little bit much. There's just a lot going on, and not that you're waiting for the next action set piece to happen, because it's still a pretty brisk, movie. It just is convoluted sometimes, like who's, doing what with whom and all this kind of stuff. It's like,
well, there's certain actors that play different roles also.
And from the first one.
First one, which I think adds to the confusion a little bit in that arena. But
So there is a little bit of that. But
I have one complaint about the first one.
Okay.
Mike Shinoda.
Yeah, he does the
I have a question for you.
He does the soundtrack.
Did he do the soundtrack on the Indonesian release, or was that just when the international release? Did they bring in Linkin Park?
That's a good question because I do not know. I don't know the answer to that question, but that sounds like probably what would have happened.
I know. I feel like that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it gives it a little bit of a pacing that kind of feels like it gives like a low energy that kind of keeps the movie like stable. I don't know throughout, but
in the end, it doesn't even matter. But
I would love to see these movies come out in 4K. I would love to see. They've been out in like a Blu-ray box set already, but it's just like these slid into a case. Who cares?
That's the one I have.
Is it the one you have? Yeah, it's like
because by the time I saw it when you showed it to me,
Yeah.
that case was available, so I just picked both of them up.
Yeah.
Same editions.
It's the same editions. Yeah. So I mean, this in 4K would be incredible. I would love to see that. I wish they would, but
why aren't these on 4K?
I don't know.
That's
I don't know.
ridiculous.
We need to get back to the things that matter, and that's the Raid and the Raid 2 and 4K. So
I agree.
So those are my recommendations for the week. The Raid and the Raid 2. Check them out.
Excellent choices.
I think
man.
you'll love them.
Excellent choices.
Russ, what do you have this week?
I chose to go a bit older.
Okay.
I went with 1983's. Actually, let me double check that. I feel like I've been getting years off the older I get with release dates, and I can't read this. Fuck it. 1983's Ms. 45, directed by Abel Ferreira, who is a filmmaker I adore. For the uninitiated, the story is a woman who's a mute. She does not speak. She works for like this low-level fashion business in the fashion district in New York. This is still when New York was trashy, early 80s, you know what I mean? I love movies that take place in New York in the 70s and early 80s. She is violated twice by two separate men in the first 10 minutes of this movie, and she kind of snaps. Now, keep in mind she's a mute, so we don't really know what she's thinking, but she snaps and basically decides to kill every man who talks to her.
Nice.
She basically goes out to bars, and if a guy hits on her and is like crazy, even if he's just a normal guy, she's going to kill him.
It's like Promising Young Woman.
Thank you, Matt. This is the movie Promising Young Woman should have been. And you can call me old and out of touch. I don't care. Promising Young Woman had no bite. This has bite. Now, what's funny about it, it's an exploitation film for sure. This is clearly a riff on Taxi Driver, on Paul Schrader type movies, where it's a female character being the vigilante, though, right? You can watch this strictly as exploitation. You can watch this as a fun, violent, have a great time with it. What I adore about this film, though, I feel like as years have gone on, let's look at something modern like the Me Too movement, anything like this, I think films like this take on a whole different sort of perspective now. I feel like you can watch this film, and I'm not even sure if that was the intention when it was being made. Honestly, it could have been just made as a straight up exploitation flick. But there's genuine pathos in here about how women are treated, how women are viewed, But what I love about this movie is it still manages to have fun with it. It's not beating you over the head with these points. It's there. You take it. You subconsciously take it in, but you're ultimately enjoying a fun, violent movie. All right. There's dark humor in this film. There's a whole thing that involves a dog that you think is murdered that is played brilliantly. The payoff on that is incredible.
Animal abuse.
I'm not spoiling it, but there's potential animal abuse, but it's a funny payoff in my opinion. The end scene. Okay, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think it's become pretty iconic. It's a Halloween costume party. She's dressed up as a nun.
It's on the back of the box.
Yeah, actually, I got that tattoo. I'm a fan. If you don't believe my recommendation, I have this permanently on my skin. She's dressed as a nun, and this is kind of her final showdown. She kind of snaps in that, and the resolution, what happens to her character featuring another female character. I don't want to spoil it, but you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you watch it. It is such a phallic way of what this female character does to take her down, and it's this extended shot of it. It just lingers on it, and I love every second of it. I love the blue look of this party. I love the this disco-ish song that's being played. I've downloaded it on YouTube because I can't find the thing anywhere. I listen to the song all the time to this day. Man, it is so fun. It's just so fun, and like I said, while managing to, it can make you think if you wanted to. And a step beyond that, it is shot beautifully. It's a great filmmaker working with a low budget. And I'll tell you this, the main character, Zoe Lund, her life story is nuts. Even beyond the character she plays in this movie is more normal in a way than what she was in real life. Zoe Lund, this actress, is so interesting. She was a model first. This was her movie debut. She was a model, but she was also a big heroin addict user, which isn't uncommon with artistic types, right? Or in model industries, Hollywood, whatever. What was interesting about her was she was a heroin proponent. Like, she spoke about, she wanted heroin to be legal. She was like an outspoken activist for heroin. Very strange, right?
Yeah,
Her life was strange. When Abel Ferrara did Bad Lieutenant after this with Harvey Keitel, if anyone's seen that, she briefly appears in that movie, and it's the scene where Harvey Keitel's shooting up. She was brought on set, basically, and she ended up in the movie, but she was brought on set to be like, hey, let's get this accurate.
Yeah.
Let's depict the heroin accurate. And it's always been rumored that her and Keitel actually did heroin in that part. But, and Bad Lieutenant, I will say this, if you've seen Bad Lieutenant and have not seen Ms. 45, yes, Bad Lieutenant is hard to get through and very morose and dark. This one, it's not light. You're getting that same dark, violent, the stuff people who watch this channel and myself adore in films. I love a good cult exploitation, violent, type film.
Are you sure the people that watch this channel like that stuff?
They should if they don't. Okay. But what I'm saying is this has fun with it as well. And you can take something away from it, and it is immensely rewatchable. I've seen this movie like at least 10 times in the past 4 years. My wife's seen it more than once. She's been subjected to it, and she likes it too. So and she's not a movie person, and she enjoys this film. She even said the same thing that you said, like, this was better than Promising Young Woman. But, man, any of you who have not seen Ms. 45, I can't recommend it highly enough. A fantastic filmmaker, Abel Ferrara. In my opinion, this is probably his best movie, and this is coming from the dude who made King of New York, Bad Lieutenant.
China Girl?
China Girl. Nobody knows China Girl. I'm a fan of China Girl.
I know, that's why I said it.
China Girl, yeah. I'm a fan of his films, but like I said, the three that most people know are King of New York, Bad Lieutenant, and this. And I'd say this is his crowning achievement. I would recommend this to anybody, if that's what you were about to ask.
I would also like to know that, but who is Mrs. 45? Ms. 45. So I said Mrs.
The main character.
No, but who plays Mrs. 45?
Zoe Lund.
Zoe Lund, sorry.
The actress I saw. She is the main character.
She's the main character. Gotcha.
The heroin advocate.
Gotcha.
Yes, her. And again, she doesn't speak, so it's a whole silent performance from her.
Nice.
I'm telling you, this movie, you're going to be shy. If you haven't seen it, if you love Taxi Driver, if you love movies like that, give this a watch. American Psycho, you like that? Give this a watch. You're going to thank me. You are going to thank me.
Miss 45.
L7 made a song called Ms. 45. It's been in pop culture. I know there was a popular show recently on HBO that had like Zendaya in it. I can't even remember the title. Euphoria, thank you. There was a reference to Ms. 45 in that because my wife watched that show and she watched this part. And it was at a Halloween party and the girl explains that, no, I'm Ms. 45 because she was in a nun outfit and all that. So, like I said, I assume this is viewed as it's not canceled, apparently.
Not canceled.
Not canceled.
I like the cover.
I'm sure there are people who would love to cancel it. Yeah, I believe that's the original artwork.
That's awesome.
For it.
It looks like a nice addition as well.
It's honestly not indicative of anything in the movie. Nothing looks like this in the movie, but it is a cool cover.
Yeah, it makes me feel like that should be the movie now. That scary guy with the stick.
Scary guy with the stick. Great cover.
Great cover. I like that guy.
You have not seen Miss
I have not seen it.
45.
I've not seen it.
No.
I'd like to see it based on your recommendation.
I think you would dig it because actually, when I said American Psycho out loud right now, I was like, yeah, that's a good comparison. I'd say Taxi Driver, American Psycho, movies like that. If you're into that, give Miss 45 a watch.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I guess that's it for the week.
Well, thank you for allowing me in your home.
Thank you for coming to my home once again to shoot another lovely set of segments for you beautiful people at home. And for all you people listening on Spotify, we're your 4K Kings. I'm Matt.
I am Russ.
And we'll see you next time.